And we are live at the CPU Western Canadian Championships 2024, presented by SBD. Session 2, we're starting off this afternoon. I'm Mark Magnuson, and I'm here with my cohort, Matt Bowen.
Nice to be back with you, Mark.
Yep.
I'm excited for this championship.
Yes, on platform 1,
all right,
we will have equipped.
Welcome to the CPU Western Canadian Championships 2024 in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Give me a round of applause for the powerlifters. Where is this guy? The bars are almost loaded. Once we get a chief referee over there, loaded on platform 2. Here we go.
All right, we'll let Gino finish up there.
Right.
On platform 1, we have the equipped men and women.
Carly,
and on platform 2, we have the junior women, 52 to 63 kilos. We're on platform 1, Matt.
Frankie.
Carly Ornsby starting up here. Her goal today, 272.5 in order to get herself a national qualifier. Let's see how she does.
And that was smooth, Matt.
Very smooth. Should be 3 white
Carly
lights.
gets the rack command.
And on platform 1, our first equipped lifter.
3 white lights. Give her a round of applause.
You see the strongest woman in Canada, Brittany Schlater, our chief spotter on platform 1 or platform 2.
And Frankie No with a
Frankie gets the rack command.
good lift on platform 1.
Frankie's
Good start.
She's an administrator. She's
right,
part of the volunteer crew team. She's Team Saskatchewan.
And Marnell on 1.
And as they're loading up for the next
Marnell has
lifters,
242 pounds.
tell me a little bit about equipped lifting, just in terms
That's
of
220 pounds.
how does a classic lifter kind of think about equipped lifting if they decide to get into that?
See, it can be seen as more complicated. For the squat, they're going to have a canvas suit on. It's a single ply canvas, and at the bottom of the squat, it gives them a lot more recoil, so they can ultimately lift a lot more weights. They wear special briefs, which can also help give them elastic in the bottom. You see their knee wraps. All of these things are optional, but knee wraps also give a much tighter hole for them to bounce back out of at the bottom. Wrapping is very tight, and it's all about timing for your squats. If you're not able to get out there because of a misload or something like that, your knees can go numb. Coaches have to time this very, very carefully in order to get a safe squat done.
All right, we have Marnell Spencer on platform 1 and Victoria Son on platform 2. Victoria looks like she has a good lift, and Marnell does a nice job of finishing that lift.
Marnell's lift is
If you see on our screens, well, the blue rim around our red circle. So red is indicating no lift versus white is a good lift. The rim on the outside is what foul card they have. In the venue, we'll see on the TVs that it explains it a little bit. That's from Ryan Stinn's programming. Platform 2, there was a red on the outside, so that would have been for depth.
Yes. And explain to us why we need 3 white lights and how you're successful with a lift.
Absolutely. So each platform is going to have 3 judges.
To Janet.
It's a 2-to-1 call. If there's 2 white lights, it's good lift. 2 red lights, no lift. 3 whites, good lift. 3 reds, no whites. Or no lift. If you have a challenge, lifters may go to the jury. We have 3 referees at our jury table, and they oversee the lifting and ensure that no, they say, egregious miscarriages of the rules take place.
All right, we have Janet Lascelles-Sidar as an equipped lifter, getting ready to go, and Ainsley Breckenridge, who just completed a squat. It looks good.
Ainsley gets the rack.
And yes, she's got 3 white lights.
Ainsley gets 3 white lights.
We'll watch Janet.
You may be able to hear the coach in the background shouting. They sometimes have to fight for their bottom to be able to hit depth because of the resistance from the student, from the wraps. Sometimes they have to push harder to get down. Same idea on the bench shirt. Sometimes people have to row as hard as they can even to touch their chest. But we'll get there when we get to bench.
So it does, when you watch equipped lifters, especially when they squat, as you pointed out, there's a benefit to having the suit on, there's a benefit to having the wraps, but there's also a lot of technique involved.
Absolutely. You're going to be lifting a lot more weight, so if you're not getting down in the bar path you're used to, and you get off that groove, disaster can happen. So technical proficiency is much more important. Not that it's not with classic, but in equipped it's a lot more dangerous if you don't execute as ideally as you can. You'll see that the overall percentage of complete lifts is probably lower in equipped.
We have Giovanna lifting on platform 2, very quick up and down, and that looks to be successful. We'll wait here and see from the judges. And we have Maeva
Lift is good to Giovanna.
Again, reaching for that depth on the equipped squat.
Lifting with equipment on one, and the lift is
2 white lights on platform 1, and the red again.
So red's indicating there's no lift. The blue is indicating it's a blue card, which for the squat is either there's down and then up again motion. As well, the knees might have not been considered blocked. Double bounce attempt. The rules explain all of these things in great depth, but a lot of people just look for the white or the red overall to see if it's going to be a good lift or not. I really like this technology system because it does explain to the audience what the fouls are for.
Sure.
It's on our meet director, Ryan Stinn, for that one.
Yep. Dara is about to lift on platform 2.
Bars ready.
122 kilos, 270 pounds.
Right.
And again, looks like a successful lift. We'll wait to hear from the refs. Meanwhile, Maria Frank, who is a well-known veteran lifter here in Canada, is about to do her equipped squat. Maria has been in multiple meets over the years, very successful. And that looks like a good first lift.
Yes,
you'll see that a lot of times that we think that our lifters with the in racks are going to be your big heavyweight people, but oftentimes it's easier for them to center the bar, to have a more stable bar, and you'll see people that don't have a super wide grip still have the racks in for whatever reason they can. They're allowed to have one or both rack in on either side.
And again, that happens often, like you said. Some people who are smaller or have narrower grips, but also the heavier lifters will do that as well.
Yeah, it's generally designed for the large lifters with the poor shoulder mobility to be able to grab all the way out to the plates if they need to.
Sure. All right, we have 2 more lifters. We have Natalie Butts doing the equipped squat, and we have Nima up and getting ready to do her squat on platform 2. Both are ready to go. And Nima looks like that's pretty comfortable first lift for her. We'll wait to see what Natalie does. Again, reaching for that depth. And we'll wait to see how the refs see that lift. So explain to me again, it looked like there was a bit of an up and down.
Yeah, so that's probably what happened there. The blue lights on the squat can be either knees or up and down. Movement on the way up. She also had a depth call on the other side. So you can get any number of fouls. It's really tough to be perfect in powerlifting.
We have Jenny Hua on platform 2, 125 kilo squat. Jenny's ready to go. Again, very quick up and down. Look to be a solid lift and 3 white lights. Sherry is doing a quick lift here, 145 kilo. Again, you see the suit, you see the wraps. This is a very technical part of the sport when you do equipped lifting.
And Shara
looks to be a successful lift. So I'm going to ask you this question while we have a break between the next lifters. What about the amount of depth you want? I hear often that you don't want to dive bomb them because you're wasting too much energy going too deep.
Yeah, well, everybody has their limits. Some people physically can't get below it. As long as your hip crease at your the top of your leg, at the bottom of your waist is lower than the top of your knee, you're fine. With equipped lifting, oftentimes they have to fight for it, or just because of all the equipment, they're not going to be able to get as deep as they would in a raw squat. So it's sometimes challenging to hit depth in the suit, whereas raw lifting, if you're not hitting depth, it's probably a technical issue.
All right, Kate Douglas, who's from Saskatchewan, with her first squat as an equipped lifter at this meet. Kate is recently entered into the M1 category.
And with our Masters categories, that's for M1 would be Masters 140 to 49, M2 is 50 to 59, M3 60 to 69. And we'll have some M4s here this week, which means 70 plus years old. There's no age ceiling for powerlifting.
Well, as someone who just became a recent M3 lifter, I know all about being old as a lifter.
Happy 60th, Mark.
All right, Carla Hornsby is going to do our platform 2 next lift. She's ready to go. This is our second squat for her. Now I'm going to ask you a question again. Looked like lots of depth, but she had a very narrow stance. You'll see that sometimes.
Absolutely. You'll find depths and stances of all sizes and all ways. People are working around injuries. They're just naturally, that's their physiology. Some people have out-turned hips, so they have to squat in a way that you might not see to be typical, but it's the only way they can do it. Some people have to be narrow. You'll see some people coming up with triangles in their knees, and you think it's dangerous, but for them it's safe.
Diana on platform 1 with a successful lift, it appears. Yes.
Bars ready up 2. Lift is good on 1.
Our next lifter on the equipped platform 1 is Charlene Kosser, again from Saskatchewan, I believe. And on platform 2, Victoria Son with her second lift.
I do like our bar at the bottom. It's able to help us, the audience, everybody get a little bit of a glimpse into what's going on with our lifters, where they're from. It'll show their projected total. So if she gets this lift, it will bring her to 280 from 272.5, and it's helped for scoring and competing against your competitors and seeing what just you might want to get to be able to win your class.
Two whites and a red.
Red on squat, red circle will be for depth, so she just didn't get her hips low enough below her knees.
Now explain the nice graphics we have at the bottom, because when you mention those points, for those that are trying to make national teams, those points are crucial.
Yeah, so her GL points are just going to be a coefficient. It's a mathematical thing that the IPF has come out with internationally. The good lift points, that's a system they use. So generally, when you get to 100, you're elite, and it kind of trickles down from there. There's some people that go above 100. Your total in equipped is going to be significantly lower coefficient. If you hit 300 kilos in equipped versus 300 raw, your GL total is going to be significantly lower because you have that advantage from the suits.
Chantel Sush on platform 1 equipped just had a no lift for 2 reds, and I believe it was a yellow or a red.
I think I saw 2 reds.
2 reds.
So it would have been depth.
Okay.
And that's the thing with you have a red in the middle, red on the side, and white on the other side. Judges, they have different views from side to side, and that's why we have 2 side judges. There's some very crooked lifters out there. Their left side might be way higher than their right.
That is an issue I have with one hip. Yes.
Sometimes you'll get athletes that are complaining that, oh, I was low here. Yes, but you might have been very high on the other side. You never know. That's why we have 3 refs.
That's why I always film my practice videos on the bad side.
Socks are out of this world.
And you don't share them with anyone.
Nope. I do not. All right, Chantel on platform 1. Now that's, again, another kind of a unique approach. She gets down deep, and then she does a little dip at the bottom.
Yeah, and she got it 2-1.
She did.
Side judge called it for depth. The other 2 said it was a good lift. Chantel's actually the lead technical official of Alberta now. Recently, she moved from Alberta to Saskatchewan, and she's the head honcho of Alberta now.
So, and that's what's great, I think, about the powerlifting community, is that the lifters and everybody are so involved. It's a tight-knit community. People are generous with their time. Everybody gets involved, and it just makes for a great sport.
Absolutely. It's one of the most community-based sports there are out there. Something about an individual sport where it's actually a team sport. People forget about that. It's, at the world level, you're not battling for individual medals per se. The winner of the competition is the country, so it ultimately is a team sport. We forget about that because at the local level you might just be going for your personal best.
Yeah, it does combine both really nicely. All right, we have Jenny Hua on platform 2 for her second squat.
Jenny Hua.
Jenny with a good lift, and Frankie Noah is back with her second squat on platform 1, 90 kilos. This will take her to 38 points on the GL point scale. Ready to go. And now she's done something a little interesting in that she's using sleeves. She's chosen not to use the wraps.
Yeah, and it's optional to use wraps. That's the thing about equipped is you can use it. You can. She may have a squat suit. She may not. She might be in this just to be able to use a bench shirt or a deadlift suit. You can do up to and including all of the equipped equipment that you can't use in classic. Just like in classic, you can use a belt and wrist wraps. You don't have to. You don't need to use knee sleeves. It's all optional. You could go totally just no knee anything, no wrist anything and equipped if you want
Bars
to.
loaded. Here comes
So that's what I
Janet.
think a lot of people don't understand is
Janet.
the equipment list is up to,
Coached
not
by
only.
Brock.
So you can go up to those things, but you don't have to use those things if you don't want to.
Exactly.
Right.
No lift on 2. The side
We have
referee
Janet
says
on
she did
platform
not
1 on our
squat
equipped platform.
low enough.
I managed to watch her lift last fall at Westerns
Come
in
on,
August. She was
Janet.
very successful there, and this is her second squat attempt.
Much like Chantel, Jeanette is the chief official of Manitoba. She's the officiating chairperson.
Bars ready on 2.
We have all of our volunteers also as lifters, which is great.
Absolutely. Her coach, Brock Haywood, there.
Here
He's getting off the
comes
ground. He
Laura
was
on 2.
he's the technical secretary of the event, chief official.
Uh-oh.
People do many hats, many roles in powerlifting.
Got
They
chips
sure do.
from the jury table.
They're on
You know what
platform
happens
1.
when somebody gets
Second
chips
attempt. We're
from the
moving
jury
through nicely
table?
here.
Hey, did you
The
guys
spotters
get
and loaders are doing an
over?
excellent job. And shout out to all of them for all the hard work they do.
And to SBD for providing them their
It's on the
socks and their
jury,
shirts.
chips from the jury table. It's a Memphis
Everybody's
Canadian
uniform and looking great in their
record.
apparel.
Stay under the bar.
You'll
Barry,
hear
stay under the bar when that happens. The
I
spotters
want to
are the ones
explain
that
why
get
we
you back.
stand under the bar when a failed attempt
Barnell
occurs.
yeah,
Spencer.
generally speaking, whenever that happens, you can,
She's got
with the assistance of your spotters,
118
especially if there's
and a
3 or
half
5 of
kilos
them
on
up
the
there,
bar. can
you
only
barely have to
go
use any
down on the
effort and they're
bar
going to
and
carry
see
it
the
up for you. You're using
national
minimal effort.
record or
People
world
sometimes in the
record.
gym will just be
I
able to
believe
protect
it's
themselves, but
Canadian national record
in
attempt.
a competition, we generally encourage people to stay with the bar at all
The bar
costs.
is
Sometimes it
loaded.
slips, but
Give me a round of
sometimes it
applause
doesn't,
for
and
Marnell.
it's been a controversial issue within the IPF and CPU of late. It's a safety for the spotters issue, more or less. They're there to catch you, and
Wants
when
to
you
be
drop the
best
bar
in
on them,
all of Canada.
nobody wins.
Yeah, with all the work that the spotters are doing, protecting the lifter has their role as well to make sure the spotters are not left with a bar and the weight.
Bars loaded on 2.
We have Marnell on platform 1. This is her second attempt.
Marnell is a gym supervisor saying thank you to her coach, Ryan Fowler. And
Let's see if she got that. It was a grind. Yes, 3 whites.
when she came up a little bit crooked there, you noticed that the spotter was able to just nudge it up over the lip so she didn't fall over.
Exactly. And she's lifting as a 47, which is just over 100 pounds.
Yeah. She has many a record in those categories. Absolutely elite.
And Carly with a successful lift on our platform 2. And so we are starting to get some placings now that we've had a few lifts. People are working on first, second, or third in some of these weight classes or in their equipped weight classes. And let's explain the 3 lift total for some of those people that don't understand how that works and how you create a total.
Exactly. So you see on your screen there, Carly at the bottom, bench opener 50, deadlift opener 100, and she has 87.5 currently on the squat. You add those 3 together, and her projected total is putting her into 3rd place for now. Whatever her best bench press or best deadlift come to be on top of her best squat, that is where she's going to end up in the placing of her junior 52 unequipped class.
And so one of the things I just overheard the other day, which I thought was so interesting, and I hope I'm not taking it from anybody, if I am, I acknowledge that, is that you can have a successful meet with only 3 lifts.
Absolutely.
But
You just need 1 squat, 1 bench, 1 deadlift.
So you could go 3 for 9 and still have a good meet.
Oh yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure coaches don't want that.
Well, it is what it is. You play the game,
Yeah.
and that's the thing is, if someone is here today and they're the only person in their class and they aren't seeking some special total and they want to go to Worlds and it fits within the CPU policies to make a Worlds team, there's incentive to do their best. But if they may not need to go all out in order to make a Worlds team. And this is a special edition of Westerns. Usually it's not a Worlds teams sort of situation, but because of the calendar changes in CPU and IPF, they've actually had our regionals become sort of pseudo-nationals in a sense that people are able to make world teams at these events. So you'll see a lot of elite athletes that may otherwise skip Westerns or the other regional competitions competing here today to try and fight for those world team slots. And there's similar athletes at Centrals and Easterns, so it's interesting. It's like 3 different competitions fighting for the same spots.
Yeah, one of the things that you said about that is our 3 regionals are qualifiers for the national teams, and so our Westerns, I think, is the biggest Westerns we've ever had at well over 400 athletes.
Oh yeah, this is bigger than CPU Nationals 2020. I think it'll be close anyways. The growth in the sport is incredible. So Yeah, there's some people calling this Western Nationals just because of the blend of the styles of everything and the qualifyings and just sort of the caliber athletes we're getting at our regionals.
Yeah, I noticed as I was looking at the lifter list, a number of people who have been to world events, won national championships. As we go later on, even today, Maria Frank, one of those people who's won national championships, and I believe she's attended worlds multiple times. So these are definitely a much bigger regional than you would see certainly in the past. As you mentioned, maybe bigger than some of the recent nationals. And so it's exciting for the fans, it's exciting for the lifters.
Oh yeah, this is a unique and incredible event. Regionals is typically a place where you might want to break a national record. You might want to have a bigger competition with your peers in the other provinces, but this year it really matters to get to Worlds. And there's a lot of world champions, or world competitors at least, mixture of them, let's say, in this competition.
Grind by Ainsley there on our platform 2, and she's successful with that lift. And you know, one of the things I also like about powerlifting is you watch the spotters, and these spotters are encouraging the lifters. They're fans as well. They want them to do well. It's very much I want to beat my own total, and yes, you want to win or you want to place. But there's just so much support for each lifter from one another.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the same referees who look at you very sternly, and then you put them on the platform, and all of a sudden they're your biggest fans.
I can corroborate that. I've had a couple of referees who have failed me on depth, and they're the best people.
Absolutely. There's a certain authority when you're refereeing that you just drop because you're just there to encourage everybody to not, hurt themselves when you're spotting.
All right, we are on our second squat still on platform 1 for equipped lifting, and we are on to our third squats on platform 2, our raw junior lifters. Giovanni's going for her third. Nice and deep. That seems to be a good lift. We're waiting on.
There you go.
And the lift is good for Gio.
Yeah. We call that 2-to-1. Good lift.
Yep. And Katie Douglas is back for her second as an equipped lifter. She'll be squatting 162.5 kilos. This is for first place in the 76 kilo weight class in the Masters 1 category.
162.5 kilos. Bars ready for Neha, platform.
Katie is one of those people who is constantly volunteering. Every time I come to a meet, I see her volunteering as a spotter, as a loader, in the back somewhere. She's just one of those people that makes it work.
Absolutely.
No more changes.
What province are you out of, Mark?
What's that?
What's your home province? What's your hometown?
Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan. That's a giveaway.
Oh.
No lift on one.
You hear in the background the voice of many federations. Gino.
Yep. Now I have to admit though, I have been to 2 meets in Manitoba. I've been thoroughly enjoyed. I've gotten to know some of the people there. I've done one in Winnipeg and one in Brandon now. And so I'm trying to make my way across Western Canada eventually.
Yeah, maybe you'll get to Worlds one day.
Hopefully one day.
Go to Brandon, Florida one day.
374 pounds, bars loaded, says Brian.
Gino is flown in special for some of these events. He spoke to him earlier. He's sometimes at home 10 days a year occasionally. He's always on the road or on a plane going to some powerlifting event.
It just appears to me like he's every weekend. He's somewhere. Last weekend was Arnold's. A couple of weeks ago was, I think, a Nationals somewhere. He's the face of powerlifting in terms of being on the platform. Everyone knows Gino.
Yeah. Can handle 2 platforms at the same time like nobody else.
Yep. All right, we have 2 lifters, Diana and Dara.
Diana out of BC, no lift on 2. When you get into thirds, sometimes things get a little bit sketchier. You get it's the nerves, it's your strength levels. Maybe you had a bad day, maybe any number of things. As a spotter, you're on your guard a little bit more than you might be on the firsts.
And generally speaking, those third attempts, it might be a provincial record, it might be a personal best, it could be a national record. And so people are reaching a little bit on third attempts often.
Exactly. It depends on circumstances, but if you have nothing to lose and you think you can get it and you want to go for a record, people that may not otherwise have it in the gym come and peek and they get the crowd behind them. They're excited and all of a sudden they're pushing boundaries they didn't think they could. Seen some wild things in powerlifting.
Now this is Charlene on our equipped platform 1 with 185 kilos, which would keep her in first place. And we have Jenny on platform 2 And I believe this would also put her in first place with this lift of 135 kilos. So we have people trying to get onto the podium, trying to get to the top of the podium. We'll see how they do.
Ooh. Sometimes you have these fast twitch lifters. You think they're going up and then they go down.
Yeah, Christina struggled a bit on the way up. She kind of hit a bump in the middle.
Charlene 3 whites on the other side.
Chantel was good on the other side.
Chantel on 1, Christina on 2.
Chantel's up next,
Christina's got
excuse me.
308 pounds. Chantel's got 413.4 pounds. Bars loaded on 2. Bars loaded on 1.
This is a big lift for a Masters 1 69 kilo lifter. Over 400 pounds on platform 1.
I'm not sure what Chantel does in classic mode, but equipped, she is a specialist. Wrap tight, ready to go. Interesting with that dip squat.
There again, that little dip.
And 3 white lights.
3 white lights, it's a good
3
lift.
white lights on 1.
Christina over on platform 2. And this, I believe, would put her in third place.
No lift on 2.
We have a no lift on the third attempt.
And great spotters, great spotters.
And we have some very notable people spotting this afternoon. Do you want to mention our lead spotter on platform 1 and 2 are quite well-known lifters?
Yeah, exactly. So on platform 1, we have Jeff Butt. He's now the CPU president. He's ran and been to many a World Championships, Commonwealths, North Americans. He's done everything. He helped upstart the SPA, Saskatchewan Powerlifting, many years ago. The people that lead it today were largely trained by Jeff Butt. On the right, our chief spotter is Brittany Schlater. She went to Sheffield, IPF Sheffield, which is the top meet in the world, arguably, just recently. And yeah, it's great to see the people that are some of the top athletes giving back and being the top volunteers.
Yeah, I'm always impressed by how the people at the very top in powerlifting still stay in the grassroots in terms of local meets and regional meets and are willing to help out pretty much whenever they have time.
On platform 1 gets 3 white lights.
We had Marnell with a good lift, and now we have Therese on platform 2.
The thing about our spotters today is they're all very well trained. They're all practiced. Things are moving smoothly.
We got chips off the jury table. That means Marnell's looking to break her own Canadian national record that she just set.
Spoke too soon, I think. Marnell's going now. When you're doing a national or a provincial, national record at regionals, you're able to do, they say chips, which means you can add 0.25 or 0.5 kilo plates onto your bar. The minimum you can go up is 0.5 kilos, whereas normally we do 2.5K integers from 0, 2.55, 7.50 again. Marnell here is able to load up, what is she doing? 120.5, so she's probably breaking her own record.
This is a world record attempt. Give her a round of applause.
Lots of noise from Marnell. And again, the refereeing is slightly different. You must have a national referee for this record.
Yeah, exactly. We need 3 national refs, which I believe all 3 of them are organically. Occasionally regionals will switch out with a jury, but I think they're all organically national. Gino's announcing world. It's an unofficial world record. You can't set a world record unless you're at an international meet. But if she gets this and is clean, it's the same thing to me. Oh,
She was close.
Very close.
Very close. Good effort by Marnell. I think she has that on another day.
Absolutely. Jody Ann Fester.
So we are into the second flight on platform 2. This is her first squat. That went comfortably. Successful lift.
When we say flight B, the first flight, second flight, we can have up to 28 lifters in a one session meet generally. So we can have flights of 14 lifters to make 14 times 2 equals 28. That's generally the recommended number. You can go more, you can go less. It is what it is based on scheduling. But yeah, so you'll see flight A does all 3 squats, and then flight B does all 3 squats before we take a 10-minute break heading into the bench press.
And explain to me, Matt, why 14? It's not a magic number, but there is some intrinsic value to having a certain amount of lifters in a flight.
Yeah, somewhere along the way they decided 14 was the magic number. You know, it's I guess it just works. It works out to about 15 minutes. I guess people just decide that's a good limit. On the bench press only, you can go up to 20 lifters a flight. You'll see if it's faster than that, especially in equipped, the recovery time, the wrapping time, it's, people blow themselves in fatigued, and you have to adjust to that on those days. So a larger flight like the one that Jeanette's in, she has more recovery time. Sometimes it is what it is on a no lift, though. It's very heavyweight.
And so on the opposite end of that, what's the minimum number of lifters typically in a flight?
You can have one. That's the thing, you can have one. There's some compensatory time added. I think you get an extra 3 minutes recovery time when there's only one of you, 2 minutes when there's two, 1 minute extra when there's three. But yeah, it can be any number of people for any number of reasons. If you get 3 refs, you can have a one-person meet if somebody's willing to set that up.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm glad I've never been in a flight with 1 or 2 people. All right. We go on platform 2. This is Sadie's first lift.
130.5 kilos, 287.7 pounds for this Masters 3 lifter, Mava Bridges.
You just heard Gina say Mava is on platform 1, and I believe this is for first place as a Masters 3 84-kilo lifter.
We're able to see some personal details. Some of our lifters submitted. Mava's goal today is to survive without any body parts falling off. Her words, not mine.
Mava's great. I've had a chance to volunteer with her, and she's just fun to be around.
Absolutely.
So,
and she got
best in all of Canada.
And successful lift. 2-1 for Mava. She had a 1 light on depth, but successful lift.
Now Emily comes all the way out here from Quebec. She wants to give her best and be a better version of herself, she says today. She's a student, and again, we have people from Quebec. I don't know the last time I've seen a Quebec lifter at Westerns, but that's the essence of this competition and the stakes that there are.
Well, and my understanding is, having spoken to some people in the hotel this morning, is that there's a number of people from Ontario and Quebec that are here to qualify or try to qualify for those national teams.
Absolutely. And strategically, if they went to Centrals a couple weeks ago, this is taking place later, so there's theoretically an advantage to waiting a couple weeks to do your competition, see what your peers did earlier, and maybe it works out better for your schedule, who knows?
I think scheduling is an issue. I think, like you said, watching other peers, getting a sense of whether or not you're going to be able to maybe get onto a national team, and that might be true of the people that are going to Easterns in a couple of weeks from now.
Exactly.
Whether or not they're looking at this meet and saying, oh, well, maybe I can compete and maybe I can qualify for the national team. So, as you pointed out earlier, those 3 regionals and having the national meet later in the year has really kind of changed the dynamic of how these teams work.
Exactly.
276. After her comes
Ariana Young here. She wants to make herself proud via strength training and have fun. Very positive answers in her survey responses here today. She seems like she's having a good time so far.
All right, and on platform 1 we have Natalie with her 3rd squat, and she's in first place in the junior 84-kilo category.
Lift is good on platform 2.
Interesting about Natalie, she's in her 10th competition as a junior. That's a very frequent schedule. She's highly trained through her coach, Ryan Fowler.
I was going to say, if I remember correctly on her notes, she said something about, I want to make my coach happy.
Yeah. He looks happy.
Successful lift for Natalie.
So it says also for Natalie, she got into powerlifting through a powerlifting class. I wish they taught powerlifting classes in my school growing up.
Yeah, that's new, because I know for a fact they didn't have anything like that when I was growing up. Now, remember, I was growing up with Fred and Wilma Flintstone.
I was just trying to think, was powerlifting a thing?
No.
I think it came into inception in 1972. What's the timeline there?
Yeah, there might have been a strongman thing going on when I was young, but not the powerlifting. So, yeah, we have platform 1 and platform 2. We've got Ayana and Shara, and Ayana looks like she has a good lift. Shara with her 3rd squat for first in, again, going for first in the 84-kilo category.
You'll see on the equipped side, because it is all things equipped, everybody blended in together. The class size themselves, there's going to be less lifters represented per weight class. So the competition itself might be a little bit more free that you made podium, whereas we have just the 3 weight classes on the right side, I believe, just 52 to 63 females, so
Yes,
that's
the
only
junior
3 weight
females.
classes, all in the junior category. We have all ages on the other side, so
Platform
a
one.
lot more competitive when you have only 3 weight classes going together.
And that bodes well for lifting in general in terms of having lots and lots of junior lifters. But equipped lifting,
19
up
pounds.
until maybe 10 years ago, was the only
5.2.
kind of lifting that was done. And now our
Bars loaded,
classic
says
or raw
Brian
lifting
on
has
one.
really become the dominant style in the sport. And so equipped lifting, there are lots of people who still do it, but it certainly is now an alternative rather than the primary type of lift.
Exactly.
Lift is in for Kaya.
Kaya, good lift, 3 weights for her. Yeah, the history of equipped is they decided as some of the standards became a little bit more complicated to increase ability of people to come in and just join the sport without all the equipment. It helped, and some people didn't like using equipment. The equipment got better, got quicker, and so they decided to split it. Makes things simpler if they ever want to join the Olympics.
And Kate with a big grind to get that. I believe she's going to get a successful lift. Yes, 2 to 1. Well, she worked hard for that one.
No more changes.
See our referees on both platforms in the rear. Gives a great view of the depth. Refs are allowed to sit basically wherever they want for the most part. But I find generally we see our referees in the back for squats.
And you'll notice some lifters, as you can see right now on the right, they'll get right down to make sure they're parallel with where the squat depth needs to be.
Yeah. Well, and in this case, you get 2 reds on for depth on the side judges, and the front is right. Sometimes from the front, just from body positioning and sort of just their angles, maybe you can't always confidently say if they're higher or not. So that's why we have 3 judges.
Yeah, the body types, the way they squat, whether it's a knees forward squat, whether it's more of a sit back and squat, it's very difficult from one angle to get it. So the 3 angles, obviously, 2 white lights gets you a good lift. Makes a lot of sense. And we have Ma McKella,
20 seconds, Foxhall.
Michella on her second squat. I apologize if I don't get that name quite right. One of our junior 63 lifters out of Manitoba.
She's an esthetician, and she was a strong woman before, or sorry, I read that wrong. She was strong women. Encouraged her to join powerlifting. She must have some idols in the sport. She wants to qualify for nationals today.
Excellent. Again,
Time.
And a good lift. And the juniors here, when you look at our meet, over 400 lifters, the junior categories are full across the board. There are lots of junior lifters at this meet.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see that our up-and-coming lifters, especially out west here, the future is bright. West also has a ton of masters lifters too. It's
for Chantel Such.
We have a highly populated region, and it's well represented throughout. We also have a bunch of youth lifters. The youth division's down to 9 years old now. Yeah, like I said, unless you're a small child, there's almost no limits to when you can lift.
That's right. We have youth lifters, I think, lifting on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch them. I know they get excited.
When you're coaching a 20-year-old, you're trying to keep them mentally focused and get their numbers and all this stuff. I've coached youth lifters. You just want them to have fun and not, sometimes not have a bad time out there. Essentially, you just want them to go out there and have fun, which is the sport in general. They don't care about their numbers. They don't know what they're lifting. They just want to get their squats done.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna connect that to coaching a little bit and ask you a question. So when you're coaching young lifters, like sub-juniors or juniors or juniors or lifters that are in their early 20s, and you're trying to prepare for what your 3 lifts are going to look like and what the day's going to look like.
76 kilo lifter.
How valuable is that role for someone especially for someone who's new to lifting?
Well over 2.5
Yeah, especially at an event like this when it might be overwhelming and people are lifting at a high standard. You might feel out of the loop and you're not sure what to do. So to get a coach in there of any experience level, just to be able to handle your numbers for you is huge. But you get somebody that's able to play the game. If you're competitive and you're fighting for a world spot, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do your 100% effort. You're just trying to win. You might leave a lot of weight on the table if it sends you to Worlds.
And then there's a lot of chaos going on backstage. Everybody's
when
warming up.
Exactly to your point, when you're a younger lifter and you might be focused on all kinds of things, and sometimes staying focused is everything. you know, at the same time, I've coached masters lifters that just need basically a harness. So it's personalities at all levels.
Are you saying some of us older lifters don't get excited?
And Charlene's lift is good.
Oh, we have good lifts on both platforms for Emily and Frankie. Yeah, no, I'm as someone who's now going on to my 9th meet as a masters lifter. Yeah, that first meet, that second, third meet, you know, there's a lot of nervousness, a lot of excitement, kind of just figuring out your place in the back and warming up and getting ready and handing in your submissions or your attempts, which I did not do correctly the first time at my first meet. Got caught for that, and now having done a number of meets, you do settle down, and I think the masters lifters or experienced lifters do that, and I think the junior lifters and the younger lifters do too. But there's always going to be that energy and excitement of, wow, this is another meet, and especially like this, a big meet where there's lots of people here, lots of competition. You see some big names. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between confidence and experience. Yeah, nerves happen every time.
Lift is good.
You know, I just want to look at Graham's submission here on the information survey. He said, "Thank you to all the volunteers for helping put on the competition." When it asked if there's anything else you'd like to put out there, so it's great to see the lifters acknowledging the volunteers helping. And Graham does quite a bit in his home province. He's the vice president of BC now, I'm told, and. Yeah, volunteers giving back. It's a strong theme this week.
We have just started our second flight on platform 1 for the equipped men. So we have Dominic coming up with his first squat, and we are into our second squat attempts on platform 2 in our second flight.
Yeah, when you get 2 platforms going at the same time, oftentimes the sizes are different. So we'll probably be on deadlifts by the time the bench is just starting on platform 1 when we're on platform 2 deadlifts. So it'll be fun to go neck and neck by the end. Very controlled descent for Dominic there.
Yeah, Dominic has a very slow descent, waiting for his coach to give him that up command to hit depth. Unfortunately,
yeah, so he got a red circle and a white circle is how we'll call it on the stream here. So yeah, it was either an issue with him going up and down again on the way up, or his knees were soft, they might say, at lockout with the blue, and then red is always just a depth call, so he wasn't deep enough. When in doubt, the coach or the athlete can go argue with the jury, and maybe they can have their call overturned. Sometimes it happens, not that frequently, I would say. It has to be usually a pretty big mistake. Which, hey, human mistakes happen, but it's not too typical. We see an overturn.
So there can be a jury overturn. With that last lift that he did, one of the things, when you do a slow descent like that, you are leaving the refs time to really pick it apart in terms of depth.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that might squat high, but because they go down and up so fast, when you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the lifter and you miss it because it's so fast, as a ref, you have to throw a white.
Ariana's lift is good.
And I know lifters that will, and the term I use is dive bomb. They'll literally dive bomb their squat and come right out like a bounce.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't leave the ref much time to figure it out.
And that might be strategic for depth issues. It might be that's just they have their morphology. Their hamstrings bounce them back up. It all depends. Some people, they can just hit their hamstrings hard and they're not going any deeper, so why not bounce back up?
All right, Kaya Chuan.
So we are on to Jim Dirksen with his first squat on the platform 1 equipped platform. And he is an M2 lifter out of Alberta.
540 pounds. We got 5 spotters and loaders.
Jim's a coach of numerous youth athletes as well. Came out last year to Westerns in Manitoba. Big family endeavor, family friends. Jim's been doing this a very long time.
So explain to me now, they mentioned he's lifting over 500 pounds. The spotter lineup changes.
Yeah, so generally as a standard, we can call for them lighter than 500 pounds or 225, 227.5 kilos. But that's generally a standard in which people bring out extra spotters. It's up to basically the spotting crew whenever they want, or if a referee calls for it, they can insist. But it's safety first, and generally when you're trying to press up 500 pounds as a spotter, it's helpful to have that extra set of hands lifting up the plates with you.
And you don't exactly, you're not in the best leverage position to lift that kind of weight. The spotter's in the best position. You're in a complementary position on the side. So once you get to that kind of weight, it's nice to have that, like you said, the second set of hands to lift on either side. And it certainly helps the main spotter, because the main spotter is not going to be pulling 500 pounds.
Oh, exactly. I've been up there with some of the 120 pluses. I was at a world's competition with Ray Williams. I mean, there's 1,000 pounds bouncing on this whippy bar because it's 1,000 pounds. You know, it's scary. It's scary, but spotters save lives. And, 5 dedicated spotters with a person that's not going to bail on the bar, you can do it safely and have a terrible lift be salvaged without injury.
Yeah, no, it's important that those lifters have the backs of the spotters have the backs of the lifters.
Michaela was 2 white lights there.
And Jeff with his first squat, he is an equipped lifter. I believe he's a Masters 1, although he might be doing open this time. No, he's a Masters 1, sorry, excuse me. Jeff is a Masters 1 lifter in the 120 category with a successful first squat.
Dustin Fraser on platform 1. He's out of Moose Jaw. He owns a construction company. He's done 16 meets, and he just wants to get through the day. Hometown boy just wants to see the end of the day.
650 pounds for Fraser.
And I'm pretty sure he's been here volunteering and helping out most of the week.
Absolutely. These poor Moose Jaw people can't get away.
No.
Fraser, coaching by Nonos.
Some of the most impressive performances I've seen in my day come from people you would think be otherwise exhausted, but maybe they're just so far into the zone.
Yeah, sometimes that mental aspect is huge.
Michaela with a struggle, but the spotters there nice and early to catch her. There's a finesse to being able to save somebody from hurting themselves while not totally distrusting the referee's calls on how long to wait before you do that. Sometimes, though, the ref might be silent and you got to take the bar as a spotter.
Dustin with what looked like a successful lift again. Not as pronounced a dip at the bottom, but a little bit of a dip at the bottom.
No lift for Fraser.
That was called on depth.
And see, we had the front view there. It's questionable, but the front gave a white light. On the sides, he might have been quite high, and that's the thing with powerlifting. As a coach, as a peer, when I see somebody send me an angle from the front corner, I say this is a waste of time because you have no idea if it was deep or not.
Yeah, I've been taught from the very beginning, take side shots of the side photos and side videos. Yeah, absolutely. You want to see what the judge on the 2 sides is seeing.
A lift that could be 6 inches high or 6 inches low, you have no idea from a bad angle.
That's true. Jody Ann grinds that one out. It looks successful. Yes, it is.
Good.
We have Noah with his first lift, starting out at 310 kilos. He is in the open 83 category. It's a big opener.
You notice a lot of equipped lifting in Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's one of the heavier equipped lifting provinces. It comes with the deep history they have within equipped lifting and older lifters that have mentored the younger ones.
I was going to say just that for a province this size, the richness of the equipped lifting in Saskatchewan is amazing. And as you point out, you have people that they do bra and equip, but they have a history in equip. People like Jeff Butt, people like Rhea and Ryan Stinn, people like Ryan Fowler. I'm probably forgetting other names. There's just a rich history of equipped lifting in Saskatchewan for a small province.
Well, yeah, exactly. And one of the directors, elite athletes, Rhea Stinn's gone to the World Games, competed at a high level, probably won every medal and record there is, best bench in the world. When you have that sort of legacy and friends and partners and you can teach that to the younger generations, it's huge. So Saskatchewan is very, very dense, probably the most dense per capita equipped lifting community in Canada for sure.
Now I know Brian is looking to make the national team. He is attempting to make the national team, and he's opening with a 370 kilo squat.
Yeah. He's a railroader. He's done 20 competitions, and he just wants to go higher.
So he is hoping at the end of the day today to have high enough total to make the national team.
Yep. It says this data here says his best squat previously is a 370. So
he's opening with
that's what he's opening with here today.
Now we'll have to see on depth. It's close. Hard to say from the front. And not quite.
It was one of those, I saw him kind of shift at the bottom too. You can do that for any number of reasons.
Good,
oh,
2-1.
Oh boy.
That was no good. No good, 2-1.
You couldn't see it in on our film here, but you had people running from platform 1 to try and save those spotters. It's always very scary to see that.
coming up on 2.
Human error happens,
we
but
had
it's
to borrow some
tough.
red plates from
Oh
the
my
other
goodness.
platform.
You hear
We
Gino.
had to borrow red plates from the other platform.
Zaid is
and
opening
bring
with
them over
yes,
for
375.
Zaid is also trying to make the national team in the same weight class, the open 120 weight class.
Starting with 7 plates is a lot of plates.
That's a lot of reds up there.
Zaid.
That's a lot of red
That's
plates.
800
And that's his opener.
Something.
And they're all brand new plates, it looks like.
Yeah,
That's what happens at a big competition like this.
Yeah, Dino's just mentioning again, lifters, please don't leave
Oh,
the
it's
bar
ready
if
for
you fail on
Zaid.
an attempt. The spotters will take care of you, but you got to take care of them too.
On platform 2, Ariana here's doing her third. She's 2 for 2 so far.
Yep.
So close.
She was
No
close.
lift on 2.
And now on platform 1,
A pretty quick walkout with such heavy weights. Going down controlled.
again, I think that's going to be really close, one way or the other on depth. And
It was an adventure.
yeah. And so the blue for the up and down that I might have seen.
See, the way I saw it, and I don't have the best view, is there arguably could have been a double bounce, but yeah, so double bounce would be if it looks like they've elastic twice out of the hole. For me, I couldn't tell if it was front to back because of our camera angle or not, but
Okay.
that's perhaps what that was. I'm not sure.
But 2 white lights.
2 whites, that's all you need.
It's a good lift.
You know, sometimes people go argue with the one light, but I just say, you know, move on.
I'm with you on that.
Don't-
Move on.
Don't rat yourself out. You never know.
We have Ayana on platform 2. This is her third squat at 152 kilos. This would put her in second place.
Graham, the bar's ready.
No,
452 pounds.
she couldn't save that one out of the hole.
You'll see when someone just doesn't get it on strength. Some time ago, they said throw a yellow card or a yellow light up. That's why you'll notice that it's a yellow, which is generally technical, smaller technical infractions. You see those less often in the squat. Usually it's depth in the squat, but when they throw a yellow unanimously for a lack of strength, that's the guidance from the IPF.
Kaya Chua, 342.
So Graham on platform 1 is successful with his second lift. And we are into our third squats on platform 2 for our raw junior lifters in the 63.
Loading the
Kilo
bar for
category.
hit 2, platform 1.
And Kaya so
The
far
jury
first
table
in
has
a competitive
overruled
class.
Zaid's lift. It is a no lift for Zaid. No lift. Jury
Oh, they have
table has
overturned.
overruled his lift.
The
Oh,
judges
wow.
the panel has overturned Zaid's lift of 375 kilos.
Interesting.
Now, how does that? Let's talk a little bit about how that works. Who can make that decision to go to the panel, and who?
Christina Lee.
How does that work?
No, because there's multiple jury. There's 3 of them. They can override the referees. So, like I said, they're there to overrule egregious misconduct of the rules. So, the blue that we saw, perhaps I'm just guessing that they saw that as well. And like I said, I wasn't confident what the call was, but I'm assuming that they probably all saw that. And perhaps, you never know. It's not great to second judge your referees, but. And I could be totally wrong, but perhaps that's what happened. So you have your Cat 1s and your Cat 2 referees at the table, and they see something, and if it's substantial enough to overturn against the lifter, it's probably pretty substantial. So curious to know the formal reason, but it's not something we'll be able to find out.
And there is one other possibility, and I hate to say this because it's not always something you want to hear, is that other lifters and their teams can challenge a lift.
Yeah, well, Sort of. They used to be able to just throw down €200 at Worlds and challenge it, but they've gotten away from other coaches opposing it because it was so frequent now.
Okay.
So they don't encourage that anymore. So generally, it's just on the jury to be more responsible on seeing things like what they just saw, to make that decision themselves.
So is that a move that way, or is that an actual rule change?
I should get the rules out to confirm myself, but I believe it's been a formal change.
Which is not a bad thing, because
Yeah.
there were a lot of challenges in the past.
Oh, it gets salty at Worlds. People come out with bills and just throw it at the jury and say, fix this, I'm challenging it.
Yeah.
Just big delays of the game, right?
Yeah, and you don't want that. We'll leave that up to the referees and the judges.
Exactly.
Nathan looks like a good lift. Yes, 3 whites on his second attempt. And now, as you point out, we got Jim, who's a coach, coaches a number of lifters in Alberta. He's coming up for his second on our platform 1 with 275 kilos.
And you'll see on platform 2, I guess you can't see it, but they have 8 minutes and 20 seconds to till their bench press starts. So there's that time disparity. They have 5 minutes to change their opening attempts in Flight A over there. So we get the highlight on platform 1 for a while.
Bars ready.
We do. We get to focus on our equipped lifters. Our platform 2 will start our junior female bench pressers in about 7 minutes from now. But right now we're looking at our equipped lifters, our Masters 2 120, Jim Dirksen.
One of the things that people might not be aware of is, so the World Games, I'm not sure if you heard of the World Games, it's basically Olympic recognized sports for the most part that aren't in the Olympics. So powerlifting is an IOC recognized sport that's not in the Olympics. It could be. At the World Games, they do equipped powerlifting. They've never distinguished it to be raw. So some of these lifters competing today may actually ultimately be trying to make it to the World Games.
And we do have that example. Rhea Stin competed in the last World Games and won her event, and it was equipped lifting. And I think now they've added both categories, raw and equipped.
Yeah, there's changes. I'm not certain. I should probably Google that and figure it out by the next time we talk about it. But yeah, it's huge, and we talk about IPF Worlds all the time, but the World Games is arguably a bigger deal. So it's that's a highly televised, highly multi-sport event, whereas our IPF is just within the niche of powerlifting. So, World Games could be on the line by qualifying within this competition today.
And as you point out, it's those sports that aren't in the Olympics, and that's something that I believe the IPF is working towards, trying to get acceptance at some point to get into the Olympics.
Exactly, and that's why you see
national record attempt. Jeff Dolan, 303 kilos. 668 pounds on the bar.
Focus on this national attempt first. You see he's got 303 kilos. It's an off 2.5 solid number at 303.
Wow.
Not sure if we picked it up in the background, but the coach going 3, 2, 1. And a good one.
There you go. Jeff Dolan with a new Canadian record.
You know, he came out quite shaky. I was a little concerned he was going to fall, and then
I was a little concerned with his setup too, because his second step looked pretty shaky. But then he set himself the way he wanted to be. He's a wide squatter, and it went up and down pretty cleanly.
Yeah. When you're a wide squatter, you have to make that decision. Are you going to unload straight and walk back, or are you just going to get into position?
Right.
He's the latter, and it works for him.
So up next is Dustin. We talked a little bit about Dustin and his involvement in powerlifting here in Saskatchewan and Moose Jaw in general, and also his involvement as a volunteer and all the things that he does in addition to the actual lifting. His second attempt is his second squat at 305. This would put him second in the open 105 category. The open categories at these regional meets, whether it's male or female, tend to be very competitive.
Yeah, it's true. There's just, unless it's an anomaly, more opens than anybody else. Just normally based on powerlifting being, an all ages sport, and the range is generally 24 through 40 as a baseline. It seems like right now there was perhaps a misload.
Yeah.
So I talked about earlier on, when you are in equipped lifting and those wraps go on, his knees, and it's unfortunate, but his knees have been wrapped tight for a very long time. He's probably going numb. He's probably in a lot of pain from that. And I mean, them's the breaks, as they say.
Wow.
So We'll see how he does with it. It wasn't a substantial pause, but the refs were up and about doing something. And
The loaders
Then
and
we had the
spotters
loads,
did a
so-
great job to change that very quickly.
But that's about another 45 to a minute 45 seconds to a
Right.
minute that he's not used to. I'm not sure that went down. That might have been a good lift. I guess we'll see.
Oh, no.
So we have a yellow, which could be any number of infractions, and then the blue. So the blue is probably the up down.
And that's what I saw too, was
Yeah.
a slight up and down at the bottom of the lift. Because once he got past that, he was fine, I thought. But that's tough, as you pointed out. He had to wait another 20, 30 seconds for the spotters and loaders to reset the bar. The weight on it was not quite exact. And in some cases, if it takes them more than a few seconds to do that, they'll give the lifter another chance and let him go back, right, and re-wrap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. It depends. It all depends on the
The bar is
situation.
ready for Noah.
That wasn't a
This
a
is Noah's
huge
number
overturn.
2
His coach
attempt.
was talking to the jury,
Noah
but
likes
I'm
things
not
in
certain that
twos.
that was enough to be able to get a relift. We'll hear if it
He's
is.
the guy in the front row back then.
This would be for first place in the Open 83 category.
Come
for
on, Noah. 727 pounds.
Noah wearing a
squatting
vintage
at
Canadian
Jet
Powerlifting
Airliner.
Union T-shirt, one of the
Nice.
approved
727.
logos at a championship like this.
I see that. Well, again, I think he's right on the bubble there in terms of whether it's
And
going to hit
Noah's
depth.
lift is...
Oh, he did get it.
There you go.
So again, that front view we have, from the front it looked like it might have been not deep enough, and from the side judges, when you had one side judge who gave him a
Less
blue,
than 3 minutes.
the other
No
side
more
judge saw it as
changes.
deep
Lucas in
enough.
the first flight.
Yeah, you never really know. You never really know.
Your openers.
And then if you can see sort of in our vantage point there, the camera's catching a bit of the referee, it looks like. So they're sort of off-centered as well, because in order to accommodate the camera angles,
Sure.
oftentimes
Bars ready for Brian.
I personally
Bars ready
prefer
for
a
Brian.
slightly off-center look from the front, just to be able to catch angles and things like that. But yeah, so it is what it is. It's not like we have 100 refs or one end-all be-all system.
We have Brian coming back for a second attempt at 370. He did not get his first squat at 370. This is 815 pounds. We'll see how he does with this one. Another wide squatter, wide setup.
He's up relatively fast.
That looks pretty good. His coach was, and
there-
2 to 1.
He went deeper.
His coach was helping him with that, making sure he got deep enough. You can hear the coaches in the background when people are trying to hit depth.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's the thing is, you might not have the same proprioceptal, I don't know if that's the right word, awareness of your positioning when you're in gear as you would when you're off. It can mess with you, right? People are generally used to doing the exact same thing, know exactly where they're hitting when they're in a classic squat, but because there's those nuances with the equipment, maybe they're not sure, maybe you're too far forward, too far back, the groove's off. That's why you get a lot more people calling depth from a coaching perspective and an equipped lift than you would on your average raw lifter.
right. We have Zaid back for it now. His was overturned. His first one was overturned. I think he's gone up 5 kilos actually for his second attempt.
It looks like it.
was, yeah, I believe it was 375 for his first one. This is 380 for his second one.
And it's one of those timing things. They overturned him after he would have submitted a second attempt, so
Right.
they probably talked to him about that. But 5 kilos at this weight is nothing.
Yeah, 11 pounds is not going to worry anybody at this weight. Again, that's going to be close.
Somebody screamed, "Yeah!" I wonder if he thought it was his coach. I thought that was a fan.
And there you go.
Good 2 to 1.
You got the 2 to 1. You got 2 whites. He's good lift. These lifters at that kind of weight, they're not going any deeper than they need to. Obviously, it's going to be a huge challenge to bring that weight back up. And he was good. And so the blue would have been for possible up and down.
Possible, or I'm thinking based on that seemed pretty straight. I'm not sure, a double bounce perhaps, or
Okay.
yeah. Sometimes in equipped especially, you get the double bounce at the bottom. So, yeah, I guess it's up and down, but they're really just hitting the hole twice to get a second bounce. You see that a lot with the equipped lifters, whereas it's kind of a waste of time in the unequipped. We got a bar, somebody calling for a bar clean there.
Yeah, we've got, again, our spotters and loaders in our SBD gear, outfitted with great gear. making sure that the bar is ready for Graham. And we are just about to start platform 2, our bench press for the junior female lifters. Our first lifter is Christina, a 47.5 kilo lifter. Is our first bench presser on platform 2.
That does not look like a third for Graham.
Oh, that's a pretty solid third attempt with 3 white lights immediately from the referees.
As we get into the bench, it's I guess we should talk about the commands in the squat. You get a squat and a rack command. So when you're ready and locked out at the top, the 3 judges will put their hands down, and when 2 are down at least, they'll call for a squat. And lock yourself back up, wait for them to say rack when you're secure. On the bench, there are 3 commands though, so it gets a little bit more confusing. You get a start command, and the refs sometimes early on say squat because they're still used to saying squat, so it gets confusing, but they get there.
So now even before they say start though, the lifter has to bring the bar off the racks and be stable and
exactly
still.
Yeah, and so that looks like in many different ways you get to that point. So oftentimes maybe someone's heels won't be up, or their butt won't be down, or their elbows won't be locked out. It can take a bit to get that start command sometimes, and the lifter might not be aware of it. We have the best view available for these elbows.
We do.
Oftentimes you'll see as a referee, somebody will get that bar extended at the end, like 4 inches higher than when they were at the start.
So we saw Neha, I think it was Neha that lifted just now. It was a successful lift. Start command. She takes it down to her chest, and you have to wait for the press command. It has to be still again on your chest.
Exactly. So you're waiting for motionless, and the CPU is very strict on their general standards for motionlessness. So that bar can't be moving. You know, in the past, or in say powerlifting, for example, they don't even have a press command. Somewhere along the way, powerlifting wanted a press command to prove that you were motionless and not about to bounce it. So. Yeah, sometimes people will be wobbling. With equipped, we'll see on the platform 1, it's harder to touch, and when you're trying to row it in as hard as you can with your lats, because you have to do that sometimes, that bar can be wobbling and floating and stuff like that. So you get the press command, and then once you're locked back out again, you get the rack command.
And again, at the top, before the rack command, has to be still. You have to have the control of the bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times if you beat the commands, there's 3 of them, so that's 3 chances to, you know, kind of dig your own grave, as they say, when you beat a command.
I always used to say is you've got 3 commands on the bench, 2 commands on the squat, 1 on the deadlift. So in terms of your information, what you're taking in from referees, the difficulty in that order, the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, doesn't mean the technical difficulty, but in terms of what you're taking in for information.
Oh, exactly. And then when you're in the deadlift, you get new lifters, they're not used to it, and they're waiting for you to say start, and you just say, no, we're not micromanaging you this time, you go whenever you want.
Yeah, I do remember new lifters doing that quite often. So we have Victoria here on bench press on platform 2. This is her first bench at 57.5 kilo weight class, 57.5 kilos she's benching in the 57 kilo class.
She's from Calgary, and she just wants to have fun today. She said her friends got her into powerlifting, so peer pressure is effective, everybody.
She's successful.
Just say yes to powerlifting.
All right, we got Jim here. He's working that bar. He wants it in just the right spot for his 3rd squat attempt.
Jim's a banker, and all he wants to do today is post a total. Perhaps he has a history of not doing that.
Well, he got his first one, I believe. His second was not successful. It was high. But we'll see how he does on this 3rd attempt.
Yeah, 2-1 for Jim on the blue cards. Maybe they saw downward motion or soft knees.
Yeah, it was tough to tell what that was, but yeah, non-successful lift. And here we have Dar on platform 2 with her first bench press, very successful at 60 kilos.
When we talk about a positioning in the squat, the IPF has made it, they did some announcement a year or 2 ago saying they really want to have referees make sure that people are more erect and more standing upright. with their stance. Sometimes you'll see lifters that are half bent over. Their knees are locked, so they think they're good, but they're, they look like a 45-degree angle torso. And yeah, so that's not really relevant to the knee positioning, but it should be mentioned that that is an expectation of the squat as well, as to be upright.
Right, that soft knee and that upright, straight, locked out position. I was called for that one time about a year ago, and I wasn't really sure what I had done. I needed to get it explained to me by the referee, and then I realized, oh, okay. And someone explained to me, this is what soft knees looks like. So.
And you'll find that a lot in, see, like, okay, I'm glad. I wasn't sure that he hadn't missed the squat command. I don't know if they're letting him replace or go again.
They're letting him go within the time limit.
I think there was a squat call, but it was at the same time of so yeah, long story short, they're letting him go again, which is positive. No, take that back.
The squat command, the lift is over.
They're not going to let him lift, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I heard that correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
That's unfortunate for Dustin. He did get his first lift in, though, so he will be able to continue. Let's talk about that. We talked a little bit about it previously. Dustin had one successful lift. You need to have at least one successful lift in all three, squat, bench, and deadlift, to continue in the meet. And really, if you're not successful, what is the mindset maybe of a lifter who then has to move on to bench press if the third attempt, let's say, is not successful?
Yeah, it could be a bit debilitating. I'm sure anybody that's missed a third's aware of it. I've personally never done a powerlifting meet going 9 for 9, so but there's people that demand perfection, 9 for 9 all the time. I went 3 for 3 on bench one time. It was incredible.
You and me both. Yeah. I haven't hit 9 for 9 yet either.
So yeah, I don't know, but that can happen for any number of reasons, right?
It can have lots of reasons, and again, you can have a very successful meet and only hit 4 or 5 lifts.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you need one of each, especially if you're just trying to go to Worlds. There are going to be people here uncontested, and they might just need a total, but maybe they go too hard and hurt themselves. Is it worth it? Probably not. Do you need to hit a PR today? Is it ego lifting? I don't know. It's all debatable. It depends what your goals are.
So Jeff just broke his own Canadian record that he set about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's amazing.
His third squat. He's having a good day so far.
744 pounds.
And now we are up with Christina on bench for her second attempt. We're already in the second bench press attempts on our platform 2. We are still on our third squats on platform 1. And we are starting to add up the reds on that bar.
Something that benefits the equipped lifters, well, all lifters, but especially equipped when it comes to wrapping and stuff. The Stins and Fowlers here, our 4 meet directors, have actually managed to get 12 warm-up platforms back there. Never seen it before. It's 6 each. 6 per platform. It's incredible.
I was very impressed myself the number of warm-up setups.
Very spacious. Spoiled lifters. It's awesome. You'll notice that we're on Met XT. They're a CPU-approved brand. Also sold by our meet directors.
Through Inner Strength Products.
Exactly. Yep. Affiliates of SBD and everything red and black. So yeah, the Met XTs, we used them out on the first session. They seem great. They remind me a little bit of an El Eco Rogue blend. Yeah, they're great.
And that's relatively new. The Met RX approval by IPF, I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
I think they're just CPU approved at this point.
Okay.
CPU, IPF kind of changed their standards, and a lot of the gyms had certain equipment that, so CPU didn't want to have to get all the provinces to, restart, especially if they met the IPF specs. So they made their own CPU approved list, and Met's on there. Aside from the barbells, which are, I believe, El Eco, I think everything out there is Met. So they meet all the standards. It's CPU approved. The CPU did an inspection, and yeah, the equipment looks solid.
Now we have an attempt coming up. I think this is a national record because it looks like a chip, or maybe not. No, not 385 for Brian. This is his third attempt at 385 kilos.
See, he's got that mouthpiece into place as he approaches the bar. No hands. He's done this before. Brian's interesting. He tends to have his eyes closed a lot of the time, it seems like.
See, to me, that would be a balance issue for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But he seems to be okay with it.
One time I was at a meet, and this person put this plastic rod in my mouth and said, "Bite." and go on 1 foot, and that taught me why mouthpieces are important. It's not for your teeth, it's for your balance.
Yep.
Brian,
Good job by the spotters.
Good catch.
Excellent catch by the spotters.
And that's why there's 5.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight.
Still got 1 white from the front.
Yeah, how do you get a...
It happens.
Might have been a quick decision
Yeah.
by the one referee.
Here comes Zay.
But yeah, so this company was selling these mouthpieces, and I thought, okay, my teeth are fine. I don't need a mouthpiece, mouth guard. And they demonstrated you bite on this piece of plastic, and you be on 1 foot, and you're not falling over. You go on 1 foot without it, and you'll fall over.
Really?
They push you. You got your 1 foot, and they'll push you. And when you're biting down on something, you're not moving. So I learned that it was a balance thing more than anything. It's the weirdest little hack your body can do. But yeah, more than protecting your teeth, which is also a benefit. Those mouth guards keep you stable.
I have not heard that before. I'm going to try that now that you've mentioned
Go bite a pencil and I'll push you. You won't move.
We have Zaid on platform 1. His third attempt at 387.5 kilos. This would keep him in first place.
Managed to keep himself going after the overturn first.
Yes.
Good try by Victoria, but unfortunately
Victoria with a grind, not quite there. And now Zaid with a big lift. We'll see if that's successful. It appears to be.
And
there you
go.
He got a 2-1. So the side judges liked the depth, and the center judge did not like possibly a bobble and up and down. We don't know.
That could be the knees.
Could be knees. But 2 whites is all he needed for a third successful squat. And we have bench press will be set up now on platform 1. It'll take about 10 minutes, so we can focus on platform 2 and our female junior bench press. We have Dara with her second bench at 65 kilos.
Dara's from Calgary. She says that she was inspired to start powerlifting. She wanted to become strong. She said she was seen as small in the past and wanted to become strong. She's self-coached and wants more experience in competition. So let's see how she does here today. I love the ref view. You can see their commands.
Yes. We've got a good camera angle there. And a successful lift.
Ainsley, 143.
Not yet.
So Ainsley is our next lifter on platform 2. Another attempt at 65 kilos, her second attempt. She is currently 4th in the junior 57 kilo class.
No lift on
Couldn't
2.
quite get that up. I'm going to ask you a question. This is for people that are maybe really new to powerlifting, that don't know much about powerlifting at all. Explain to me, because this is something that when you first walk into a gym where there's powerlifting, when you first walk into a meet, you see different colored plates. So explain a little bit about why that is and how helpful that is.
It's especially when you're out there spotting and loading. It's a nice visual. You know, reds are 25 kilos. You know, blues are 20. You know, yellows are 15. And when you're out there spotting and loading, it's great. You can just shout at the guy, we need, you know, a red, white, and a black. And you know that's, you know, 5 and a 2.5 on the end. It's also for consistency, for judging. Helps, you know, that people don't sneak on fake weights, or just adds for expectations and consistency, basically. Yeah, some of the other sets have different colored, smaller plates. An old brand Titex used to have oranges and smaller purples and stuff like that. But generally, everybody's adopted the same color scheme now. All of Alico used to be yellow from 15 down, I believe. And yeah, just people know what to expect now.
Helps the spotters, helps the loaders, particularly. But the other thing I like is as a fan, as someone watching in the crowd, once I learn a little bit about lifting, I can pretty quickly determine approximately how much weight's on the bar.
Oh, exactly. And it's, I think we're used to the 45s in most commercial gyms.
Right.
But those numbers aren't, much like the metric versus imperial in general, they're not not nice square 10 base numbers. Whereas if you add a blue onto anything, it's either going to be a 15 or a 65 on the end. It's either going to be 1.5 or 6.5, and you just know that, and you keep going up and up and up and up. It's a red on the end. It's either going to be 25 or 75, and it's becomes ultimately way easier to do plate math. People get so thrown off by kilograms because they're not used to training with it unless they're using kilos in the gym. But
well, and I can tell you most federations, almost all federations, IPF in particular, but all federations are using kilos. But my American friends struggle with it tremendously.
Absolutely.
They do struggle with the conversions.
Hey, everybody has their charts on their phone or whatever nowadays.
Yes.
I bench 225 on, what is that in kilos? And, when you get experience, you can kind of just ballpark it or no, but...
And so let's explain that. I was leading into something else. When you submit your attempt cards and you submit the number to the volunteers over on the side that put it in for your first, second, or third attempt, it has to be in kilos. And we have had people make mistakes in thinking they were putting it in pounds.
Oh yeah, you'll get a brand new lifter that's setting a world record because they put in a very high pound number. Unless it's a record, it has to be in some integer of 0, 2.55, 7.5, or again 0 again at the other end. It has to be 25 at a minimum for kilos. The youth division, they're allowed to go lower weights just to accommodate the lower strength levels. But so people aren't used to that, and they'll put in some, for example, 134 kilos because that's just the math they've done from their pounds, but that doesn't add up to anything. So then they have to change it to 135. But when we're at a meet like this, there's very little second or third time competitors here. So generally people know what they're doing, especially if they have a coach. So it's a lot smoother at a Westerns than your first time local meet generally. Carly here, she's going for 55, which is always a yellow. And once you get that color-based math in your head, it's very easy.
Yes. Carly with their third attempt, not quite. And again, as you pointed out, now we use the yellows to basically show a failed lift.
Exactly.
So that's the color that's used for that. Victoria's up next with her third bench press, 62.5 kilos.
The number of infractions you can get for a yellow card on a bench press it's a lot. You can have your head up, you can have your butt up, you can have your feet moving, your feet up, you can touch the rack too early. There's a lot of things. Yellow's always the other card.
Exactly. What I tend to tell lifters is learn what the red is, learn what the blue is, and the yellow may take a while.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we have Victoria here. This would put her fifth in the 57 kilo junior class.
We won't see it in the unequipped, but we might see it in the equipped. The red card, there's a elbow depth rule, which we may see in unequipped. But for the longest time, the only red card was that you're not touching you're not touching your bar to your chest, and you're hitting your belt, resting on your belt. That'll happen.
And of course, the IPF made a rule change recently about elbow depth. I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
Exactly. The bottom of your elbow has to be below the top of your shoulder, which. It's been interesting to see it rolled out. A lot of people are calling it, some aren't. They're not comfortable doing it until they've been used to it referee-wise, but I think now that people are getting more used to it, we're seeing it more frequently. It's not the easiest to see from the usual angles we sit at, so people have been adjusting where they're sitting. It's a lot easier to see from the front for sure.
Right, the front ref has the best view of that kind of infraction.
And oftentimes the front ref is the only one that's going to see the head go up just because there's so much to look at the bench press. The bench press is definitely the hardest lift to ref. Young fans in the crowd.
We have very young lifters in the crowd.
Maybe there'll be a 5-year-old division one day.
There could be. Neha with her third and final bench press attempt. So put her second in the 57 kilo class.
Ooh.
Oh. I think she lost her groove on that one.
You'll see on the rack heights that we have both the height and how high they want their barbell to be. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It goes from 1 to 20 something probably to accommodate tall squatters. But then there's the safety heights. I like the sort of minimums on these Met XT racks. I find on some of the other brands, if you put a 0 or a 1 or a 2 up to a 3 or 4, it could still crush you, but that was a safe height for her. These med-XTs don't go to such a low level that you're going to break your face every time or, choke yourself, and that's what the safeties are there for. You see people using them to squat in the gym, you're just going to break your rack, man. It's a bench safety.
The bench safety.
You're going to lose your hand or break your rack, so I always like to advocate for this is just for bench press safeties.
All right, we have Ainsley here with her third. Nope. And these lifters are attempting thirds, which may be at 100% of their personal best. They might be a little higher than that. They might be trying a provincial record. We don't know what. They might be trying to make the national team. All kinds of reasons why you might see more failed attempts on third attempts.
Yeah, exactly. It's just riskier, and as a spotter, you have to be right underneath the bar at all times. Even if you're just there slowing it down, it's helpful.
We have Dara up next. This is her third. We're doing thirds here for bench press for the female lifters. This is the 57 kilo class, and she's attempting 70 kilos.
70 kilos, platform 2.
It's nice. This meet's been going at a really good pace. Oftentimes there's a little lull in the bench press energy-wise, but people are up, excited, and on their feet still.
Give her a round of applause.
The spotting is very tight, very good, and knock on wood, nobody's getting hurt today.
Yeah, no, the spotters have been doing an excellent job. They're on top of this. You have people that are experienced lifters as the spotters. I did want to point out, you mentioned how well the meet's going, how quickly it's moving along. We have a very good crowd for day one. We are into session 2 on day 1 here at the Western Canadian Championships, and we have a very good crowd already, and I expect that just to grow throughout the day. So,
yeah, and we need to thank our presenting sponsor, SBD, as well as Inner Strength Products in the city of Moose Jaw. Heavily supported by the personnel and the equipment of these companies.
Yeah, these both SBD worldwide and Inner Strength Products here in Canada, but also they sell their products worldwide. Been huge sponsors of powerlifting for quite a while now. Visit Moose Jaw has stepped up, and they're helping to host these Western Canadian Championships. And just the hundreds of hours that go in, the volunteers from everybody, you just can't underestimate how big a deal this is to make this work and go off without a hitch.
Absolutely. I believe the directors have been here for most of the week setting up. I also wanted to mention the last sponsor on our banner, their Olympia In-Depth Performance.
Yes.
A gym out of Weyburn, really heavily involved in all kinds of powerlifting training in Saskatchewan, and there's an equipped club there. A lot of lifters from Weyburn here today.
A large junior contingent from Weyburn, typically.
Exactly. So we'll thank Olympia in depth as well. If you're ever in Weyburn, go have a lift.
And the bar's ready for Frankie Nault. 99
All right, we are starting our bench press on platform 1.
93.7 pounds for Frankie L1.
Equipped lifters, although I'm not sure she's wearing a bench shirt.
Looks like a regular singlet from here. Up to and including a bench shirt.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be.
We talked about that.
But oftentimes there will, and this is a strategy in equipped lifting, they'll go in there and hit one rod just to get their total. Maybe they're shaky on if they think that they're going to get that shirt bench. Maybe they've been having issues. And if they just want to qualify, or they just want to do something, or they want that deadlift record, who knows what their goals are.
They could be saving themselves for the deadlift, as you point out. They could be, like you said, just need a total. It doesn't have to be a great total. It has to be a total. And they want to make sure they get that total. So
yeah, you'll see a lot of raw firsts in raw opening attempts in equipped sometimes, just to be able to get a number on the board more confidently. Also, maybe if someone only likes to do 1 or 2 heavy benches in training or in general, and they don't want to do 3 big, huge attempts in a shirt, it's dangerous. Equipped benching is
a team approach.
Unequipped lifting can be dull sometimes, but equipped benching is a spectator sport.
Yeah, it very much is, and it's also a team approach. I've just started to do equipped benching. What I've found is you really need to have a small group of dedicated people to make that work. You need to have a team. And if you're doing 3 lift equipped in particular, you've got to have that support. It's almost impossible to lift equipped without support.
Oh, exactly. I mean, when you get a bench, when a barbell going up and down, it can go pretty much anywhere on an unequipped lift, as long as it goes back up. But there's to keep your bar path that fits within your shirt grooves and the seams, everybody's going to have their own unique little groove, and if you slip out of that groove, that bar is going to go flying, you're going to rip something. So having that technique in place is integral. So yeah, you'll see it's a lot of all or nothings with equipped bench. If someone slips out of the groove at all, whew.
No, I completely agree with that. It is a technique that is unique, and you know, for people that say it's just you're just getting more weight out of the shirt or out of the suit, there's so much more to it than that when you do equipped lifting.
Absolutely.
Lift is good on 2.
We've got Janet doing a nice slow and steady lift on equipped. No, she's decided she can't finish it. When we have equipped bench pressing, often the equipped press, if you do manage to get it off the chest off the press command, some lifters will struggle with the lockout, I've noticed, on equipped bench.
No, exactly. That's when your shirt gives out from helping you. You're at the end of the road there. So, you know, equipped benchers might focus a lot more on their triceps than a raw bencher. You're going to generally fail your bench off the chest for the most part in unequipped lifting, but that's the easiest part in an equipped lift. So yeah, the muscle groups that you focus on if you're a specialist are definitely different.
Yeah, the transfer from the chest to the shoulders to the triceps at the top, that process, if you don't have that strength in the shoulders and the triceps at the top, because the shirt does a lot of the work at the bottom.
Exactly. It's sort of a different hierarchy of the muscles that need to be, you know, polished in a sort of a reverse order.
That's a good way of putting it. All right, we have Shara with a successful lift.
Shara,
Her first at 87.5 kilos on platform 1. Mavis coming up with her first bench press at 90 kilos. She's currently first in the F3 category.
The bar A charge. With the bar A charge.
And Emily or Emilia, I'm not sure how that's said. I apologize in advance.
Mabel Bridges
is lifting
platform 1,
60 kilos in the 63 kilo junior category on platform 2.
And Emily, however we're going to pronounce it, entered her best squat in French with a comma instead of a period. We appreciate that.
Yes. Both lifters successful.
127,5 in French.
Sadie on platform 2, Chantel on 1.
We're moving along here. We've got our bench press. On both platforms, we've just started bench press on platform 1. We're well into our bench press on platform 2.
Chantel Such wants you to know that while she lives in Alberta now, she is from, all caps, Moose Jaw. She does not know how many competitions she's done, but she's been doing it for 17 years.
All right.
She got into it because Ryan Sin teased her in her grandmother's kitchen.
Oh, my goodness.
Family sport. And she gets a good lift, as does Teresa Leon on platform 2.
Both lifts look good. Yes.
Lift is good on 1, lift is good on 2. Natalie Butts coming up, 200.
So I'm going to ask you another question again. We're trying to educate our listeners at the same time as we know we have lifters that are watching, but also people that maybe don't lift or families or friends. When you have a 3-lift event and you're going on, you start maybe at 12 noon, and these lifters aren't going to be done until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Sometimes it can go even longer.
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the things you think about in terms of hydration, in terms of nutrition? Because that's 4 hours, 5 hours maybe, with warm-ups.
Well, that's the thing. You're out there in a powerlifting meet. If you do 9 attempts for 9 or 10 minutes, it doesn't really account for the fact that a 28-person meet is going to take 4.5 hours. Sometimes it goes 6 or 7 hours if you have more lifters or some other factor. You know, a lot of people have to time their nutrition, their water, their electrolytes, so they're not cramping. You know, they want to eat some, but not too much. The right kinds of food, their caffeine levels. Do they take medications? When are they going to rest? How do they do all that stuff? There's so many factors in keeping yourself at the optimal arousal level. They've been doing studies on that and seeing how do you stay within that optimal arousal level to do your best out there. If you're an excitable lifter and you want to be as hyped as you can when you get out there, how do you bide your time for that? And if you're not and you got to stay calm, how are you going to keep that adrenaline low? everybody has their own stylings. Everybody's somewhere in between those two extremes.
Yeah.
So many factors on meet day.
And people don't realize that that could be the factor in terms of a third failed attempt, or in terms of a squat that maybe doesn't hit depth because you just don't feel confident enough or strong enough at that point. And those can come into play, those factors.
Right now, though, we're seeing a lot of white lights, so it looks like everybody's in the optimal arousal zone.
First bench press for almost everybody has been good. I think we've had maybe one failed bench on first attempts here on both platforms, which is excellent
248
for our lifters.
pounds, platform 1.
Always nice to get that first one in. Make sure you've got a lift in on your bench.
Bars loaded.
And then you go on from there to your second and thirds. Think about how much I can lift on my second, possibly a third in terms of a PB or making a team or a record. But that first one really does take away a lot of the jitters for a lot of lifters too, if you're successful.
Exactly. Well, it's all experience, and if they always say, try and get your first squat to set your day off right. And sometimes it doesn't happen, and people rebound and have the best competition of their life. Charlene on platform 1, she's from the Olympia team in Weyburn, and she said she got into powerlifting because she needed a challenge and a change from cardio, and she saw the team training at that Olympia gym, and yeah, here we are today. Powerlifting attracts powerlifters.
There you go, 2 whites. You got a blue, a red from the head judge. So the blue, again, might be an up and down, might be a bobble, we're not sure. But both side judges liked the lift. It was a good lift.
Yeah, it could be an elbows thing as well. Oftentimes at the start of the lift, you might not have a lockout, but that's a yellow card, and you shouldn't put your hand down as a ref. But at the end, if it's a lockout issue, it's a blue card. A lot of interpreting.
Bars loaded, Maria Frank.
And maybe just I'll mention here while we're watching Maria and Jody Ann,
She's got 125
referees
kilos on the bar.
that do these meets. It's tough to get referees. These referees are volunteers. Some of them are traveling all over the country to do some of these meets. They're here for hours. Sometimes they'll do 2 sessions a day. I know a few of them that do 3 a day. And you know, kudos to them. It's a hard job. It's not always the nicest job if people aren't happy, but they do a great job. We have a very high standard in CPU and IPF when it comes to referees, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. It's our lifters come through regionals or nationals, and they go to worlds, and you know, not to brag, but Canadian lifters tend to have less fouls than other countries when you get to that stage.
The standard's high.
It's a Canadian national record. She moves.
There you go, Maria Frank, Canadian national record.
Good job, Mimi.
The lift is good, and that's just her opener.
Mimi is an editor and learning designer. She just edited the record for the Canadian
Diana
quick bench press in a 3-lift meet.
That's all. 286. Ariana.
So we have Ariana and Diana up.
137 pounds, 5.2.
As I mentioned previously, Maria, a veteran lifter, many meets, very experienced, world championships, and again now another Canadian record.
Multiple Arianas in this meet. Ariana Young.
3 white lights for Ariana.
I was about to read information about the other Ariana. Glad I didn't.
Successful Diana here with her.
San Juan.
Grinds that out. We'll see if it's successful.
Sometimes we say that counts in strongman.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Fortunately, there was a few technical issues there.
It's hard to see from where we are, but I thought maybe her butt lifted. There might have been an up and down or an elbow issue as well. So, like you said, strongman that would have counted, but not here.
Michaela from Manitoba, like myself from Winnipeg. Is it interprovincial? Is that the right thing to say when we talk regional? An interprovincial representation here today.
That is correct. Multiple interprovincial because we have Quebec and Ontario lifters trying to qualify for national teams here.
Exactly.
So it's not just Western lifters this time.
I'm not certain how many 63s there are, but that we have 8. If Michaela's an 8th, we have at least 8 different 63s. This field is stacked right now.
Solid strong junior class. We've got Frankie on platform 1 with her second attempt.
You might have some battle of provincials in some of the provinces that might get exciting. But because it's a lower level meet, there might not be as many stakes on the line. So I'm really excited for our deadlifts when we'll see battles and changes. Hopefully we're seeing attempt changes and people screaming and everybody's arguing what the right load on the bar is because people have changed 4 different times. I like when powerlifting is an actual competitive sport, and I think we're going to be seeing that today, especially from our junior women.
I agree with you. I think we're going to see some of that today. People, I know we're going to have a battle for the national team on the equipped side because I know 2 of the lifters are looking for that. On the junior female side, we're going to have possibly some national team placements. Certainly, we're going to have battles for podium placements. So that should be fun.
Yep. Good grind for Amelia.
It looked good. Yes, it's a good lift. And Marnell is back with her second attempt in the M347 class.
Marnell's goal today is just to keep her nervousness in check so she can hit a couple national records. She's hit one already.
Marnell Spencer.
There you go. It's a good lift for Marnell.
Fun fact about Jeanette, if you call her Janet, she gets mad.
And I want to get people's names right, but I would never have thought that pronunciation based on that spelling.
Yeah, that should be a fact on her information sheet. I can say that because I know her very well.
There you go. All right, we got Sadie on platform 2 with her second attempt. And this would put her in 4th place in a very competitive 63 kilo class.
And this is a personal best for her. Her best coming into this meet, it says on my sheet, is 65 kilos, and she got 67.5 there.
Went up and down really quickly.
The PR on your second, and you're always in a good place for that.
That's right.
Teresa, 70 kilos, platform 2. Bar is ready.
Jeanette with what looks like a successful lift. We'll have to see here.
She had a really tough first, didn't get it, came back on her second very well.
There you go. She's got her second attempt. It's a good lift. One of the things that I like to point out, just because I know what my support network is just how involved some of the families and friends get involved to support the lifters. It's not an easy thing to do on your own. You need the support of other people to make this happen, whether it's travel, whether it's family, whether it's watching other family members so that you can go and lift, whether it's helping with costs, because once you get to a certain level, costs start to come in play in terms of travel to meets. So again, a lot of family and friends are a big part of the network of how successful lifters are and how they continue to lift.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to come if you live in Moose Jaw. You've done this for a while, to walk down the street and come compete at Westerns. But if you're from out of province and you're a student or you're a kid, you don't have any money, getting here and spending hundreds of dollars on meat fees and food and travel, blah, 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 just to come compete. Oftentimes people cannot do that by themselves. It's not a free entry sport. So the amount of people that can come and support you financially, let alone with emotional support, the time, coaching. People may not have a coach, and they may have like their partner or a parent or a sibling back there just as a support person for them. They may find that more valuable than a professional powerlifting coach. You never know. It's a team sport, it's a family sport, it's a friend sport. How many people got into this because they had a friend that did it? I don't know. People are, in Canada built into playing hockey because that's a national thing. Maybe in Weyburn it's a it's a product of that town, but not everywhere. So you see a lot of people brought in from people that they know.
Mava has just set a national record.
Amazing.
In the M3 category.
I see your family in the crowd, very happy, very supportive.
Yep. So
Mava herself is a big support person. She takes free photos of everybody when she's not lifting. Great photographer.
Bar is ready for
National record for her in the M384s in the bench press in the 3-lift category for her.
Alberta? Now in Alberta.
It's always tricky when a lifter switches provinces. Gino has them memory blocked from when he first met them forever.
Yes, yep, yeah. Gino's got a catalog in his head. He's got everything in there. The problem is people need to help him update the catalog occasionally.
Nice form, Chantel. You're such a good lifter.
And we got Jody Ann on platform 2. This is her 3rd attempt, so I think we're starting our 3rd attempts on platform 2 now. And this is in the very competitive, again, 63 kilo female junior class, very competitive.
Bars ready, Natalie Butts. Getting the handoff from Jeff Butts. No buts about it.
I hope we censor such jokes. That was a good one. Good job, Gino.
Butts, give her a good handoff.
Jody Ann.
232 pounds from Natalie.
Good catch from our spotters on platform 2.
Natalie's currently in 1st place in the 84 junior category in equipped lifting.
I talked about it a little bit earlier, but you see the bar path on the way down, they got to fight for it sometimes, especially if it's a stiff shirt.
I believe her Deadlift half came off the bench. Her, no pun intended, her butt came off the bench.
And there you go. Gino just let us know that it was not a good lift. Her butt did come off the bench. You must have contact with the bench with your backside, your shoulders, and your head.
Yes, and your feet must also remain flat on the heels.
Correct. You cannot lift your feet.
137.8.
Your feet can slide, but they cannot lead. They have to be flat on the ground.
And you see that a lot with people that have a narrower footing. As long as their butt stays, their feet will just slide wherever it's going to slide. As long as those heels don't come up, it's all good.
That's right. We've got Mama Kella on platform 2 and Kate on platform 1.
It's like when you're side by side on the highway with somebody. Got to give it to some of the people who drove in the weather conditions to get out here today.
I have admiration for anybody who had to drive between here and Winnipeg yesterday, because I had to detour the number 1 and go 4 hours around.
Oh boy!
Last night, so we have heard a couple of stories of people that are late or might not even get in today. We had a snowstorm go through Manitoba and Saskatchewan last night.
Platform 2.
It made for some very dicey driving.
143. Bars ready. Platform 1.
Personally, I was stuck in a closed town of Verdun, but I took back roads to get here. Could not miss an opportunity to live stream with you, Mark.
I can say the exact same thing, because I took back roads from Stockholm, Saskatchewan to Fort Capel to Moose Jaw.
Amazing.
Yeah. I was behind a plow for a while, and then I got ahead of the plow because he stopped to pull out another plow.
It's incredible. Dangerous conditions, but we're all here now.
We're all here.
Ariana and Charlene also going side by side here. Coach Fowler giving loud commands. She just lost her groove on the right side. That hand was flipping out of the pocket.
So
when you see that, when that happens to Charlene and the bar's going up and it goes sideways, that's when you talk about losing your groove, because there's definitely a bar path you want when you do equipped bench press.
Exactly, because it kind of jerked forward like that. She probably wanted to stay more centered over her chest, and it was heading farther towards her face probably on that one side, and it just, yeah, you got to imagine a sort of an imaginary dotted line that you want to stick to as a template, and if it goes out of that, it can be wonky. Diana,
this is a little over twice her body weight.
It's going for 130 again.
130 kilos, 286.
It's equipped. Equipped is a wild west of attempts.
That's a pretty good ratio.
She needs this second attempt, Mr. First.
That's right. She does need this one. So when you mention that bar path, yeah, I mean, if it gets out of the groove, it can go either south and land on your stomach, or it can go north, and that's where the spotters really come into play, because it can come back towards your face.
Exactly.
So you've got spotters right there. That looks like a good lift for Diana. Oh, no.
No, I wonder what the call was for that. I believe I saw her head come up, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that could be it then, yeah.
Her head came off the bench. And her butt. Her head and her butt came off the bench.
All right, so we
Here
heard that
comes
from
Maria
Gino.
Frank.
Both her head and butt off the bench.
292 pounds to this lifter.
Notice that our female lifters are going to be asked by the referees just in general to have a ponytail or the hair up in some fashion. When it's longer than shoulder length, generally is when we ask it to happen. If it's not up, they can do all kinds of action with their head, and we don't know if their head's off the bench.
You wouldn't see that. That's correct.
So that's why you'll see
The request by
most
the
of our
ref.
female refs, or sorry, longer-haired female athletes having a ponytail or something like that.
We have Maria. I think this is going to set the record on top of her record she just set.
We'd hope so.
With her second attempt already. I mean, this is 132 and a half kilos, 292 pounds. And she's doing this as a 57 kilo lifter.
Mimi's been doing this a long time.
Yep. Right. She's got the touch. Wow.
Holy Toledo.
That looked pretty solid to me.
That was a
And
new
that's
Canadian
another-
national record.
She just broke her
That was
Canadian
an
record.
ultraviolet lift.
Very good, very
Wow.
nice.
That was a solid lift. Boy, that looked good for a second.
That's 2 for 2 for her.
Hard to tell from this angle, but she gets probably an inch away from touching her belt. You don't see that very often.
Frankie.
That in itself was a foul. It's a perfect bench, though. Perfect bench.
And we go Sadie on platform 2 with a good lift.
Smoked it. Sadie is actually 6 for 6 right now. The only person in her session that's 6 for 6.
That is a nice meet. To be
Yeah.
able to say you're 6 for 6.
Kaya's 5 for 5, so we'll see if she can top that as well after Ayana goes here.
The bar's ready.
So we got Frankie on platform 1, Ayana on platform 2. We're on third attempts for both platforms now. Just starting third attempts on platform 1.
Ayana's best bench ever, she says, is 77, so she missed 80 on her second. We'll see if she gets it this time.
Got Frankie fighting it.
Looks like Frankie did 3 raw benches, but no, she looks like she went 3 for 3 on them.
Wow. So again, going raw 3 times in an equipped event might be she just needs a total. Might be she's not feeling very good about her equipped bench right now.
Maybe her shirt ripped, who knows? It
It
could be any
it could be a
number of
shirt
reasons.
issue.
Yeah.
It actually literally could be a shirt issue too.
People don't know this about some of the equipment, the equipped lifting apparel, but you got to have a good sewing machine to fix those things. You gotta be a skilled seamstress, or well, I'm not even sure what a sewer's called in 2024.
And you can't just run out and buy one.
No.
No, I mean, well, technically, I suppose you could run next door and buy one,
You can learn. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
which is really rare for a meet to be able to run next door and buy equipment. But you could do that if you wanted to get equipment. Inner Strength Products is next door to us. SBD is our main sponsor. We thank them both. We thank our other sponsors. We've got Platform 1 and Platform 2 here, Marnell and Kaya.
I can't recall if Marnell's going for a national record. It may be so. Looks like it's 65.5. That would assume it would be.
Yeah, that might
National
be,
record for
that
Marnell.
That might be a national guess.
Kaya does go 6 for 6 so far on the right on platform 2.
Oh,
Lift is good on 2.
2 to 1.
there's a pause there, but I didn't see it up and down.
Lift is good
Oh,
on
and Marnell gets it 2 to
Marnell.
1. National record. She'll be cruising for a total record probably.
Yeah, no, that was nice.
Keep her eyes on herself. All right, Carly Hornsby. Oh, Carly Hornsby, deadlift 1. We are cruising.
We are cruising on Platform 2.
10-minute break for platform 2 before we get on to the deadlifts. As we are live streamers and constant entertainers and information sources, we don't get bathroom breaks, and we're glad to be here and serve the CPU.
I'm not saying that. I'm not touching that. That's on you.
Jeanette Sitar up.
We have Jeanette.
She did get her
Jeanette
second
up
bench.
on Platform 1, her third bench press. I'm good. I'll just say I'm good.
Me too.
All right. We're going to continue with Platform 1 here. Jeanette with her third attempt. She's currently first in the M284s. No.
Did you see the bounce there at the bottom there? That's the shirt or something in her upper body gave, and she wasn't able to keep it solid there, and that
That's
probably
right.
threw her off. And She quit on that before it even started. She let the spotters know she wasn't going to be going for it.
Sometimes as a lifter, you just know it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, there's a humility in not trying. You know, when you see somebody go out there on their first or second in, especially seconds, and they just absolutely grind themselves to zero, and they go back out there, sometimes it's hard to watch knowing that they'll probably do it again. But I've also seen those same situations, people go out there and smoke it. So
right, and if you do that, if you grind your first and second out and you go out there on your third and you know you've got nothing left, a lot of more experienced lifters will put it up on the bar, literally set up and just say I'm done, and not even attempt to lift. Sometimes
it's good sportsmanship to just put in a fake attempt and let the bar tick for another minute to let your competitor have some more rest.
There we go. Shara's attempting 92.5 kilos.
It's a journey. Couldn't really see what was going on in her lower half, but
there you go.
Lights, there you go.
You know, when we talk about equipped lifting, often what you'll see is that uneven going up. They can be uneven. One arm will go up, the other will go up, and as long as one of those arms doesn't start coming back down, they're good.
Exactly. Now, Shara there says that in Regina, her team Valkyrie and Snack Saturday, they help each other out, and it takes equip takes a village, and it couldn't be more wrong about that. Anybody can go lift unequipped by themselves and be fine, but you just can't do it by yourself if you're taking full use of all the gear.
We got Maeva here for, I believe it's going to be another
national
record here if she hits this.
98.5 to 101, some awkward numbers to what we're used to in our 2.5s, but that's what happens. If you're going for pounds, that's 222. Maybe that means something to her.
National record, first in the M384 category. Oh boy, that went up pretty quick. A little uneven, but it certainly went up. She had the strength. And she's got it. She just broke her own national record.
That's another Canadian national record. Maeva Bridges is in the house.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's headed to World Bench as well, I believe.
Quite possibly.
All right, Chantel.
I don't know if it's equipped or classic, but I believe she's headed to the Worlds in May. So we got Chantel up for her third attempt. And of course, having a great meet here just gives you a bunch of confidence going into that meet.
Chantel's got 104 kilos. This is a Canadian national record.
Another record.
229.3 pounds.
Chantel, I believe, is a family member of the Stins and Fowlers at some point. Big Moose Jaw team here. Now from Alberta.
Yep, national record for her.
Professional psychologist. Understands the psychological side of the sport.
All right, give her a round of applause.
Good try.
Yeah, not quite today.
Six minutes until the start of our Platform 2 deadlift.
One of the things before Natalie lifts here on Platform 1 is I noticed, and this is something you can speak to, the referees, if you chip a national record, the referees have to be in control of the chip and hand it to the spotters.
Yeah, so the small micro plate chips, whatever you want to call them, they're 0.5s or 0.25s. The jury has them at their jury table. Spotter, generally the head spotter, it could be anybody really, is going to take it from them, show the head ref, make sure that they're okay with that, and before they place it anywhere else.
And just another quality control measure to make sure the lift is correct.
Exactly. Now we're on this, the scoring system we're on now is called Simple Meat. It's developed by our meat director here. We're able to see and monitor the meets, and the referees are able to use smart devices and make the calls in their chairs now. It's all connected. It's loading automatically onto our TV as they're making the calls onto the TVs in the venue. It's really smart, really intuitive programming, and yeah, you can run a meet off of technology now. I'm used to the days where we had to use cards. You know, technically, if this all goes down, the meat runs off of the cards at the table. Right. Everything else is just glitter. But 2024, the efficiency in which you can run a meet with technology, assuming your Wi-Fi is good.
It is really nice to have this kind of interface for us.
Wonderful thing.
As live stream announcers. We got Kate up with her third, 110 kilos.
Under 10.5, this looks like a record.
10.5, she might be chipping this. Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah, that would be a chip, so she must be going for a provincial or national, I'm not sure which.
76 kilos.
It'd
have to be a national or regionals.
Okay.
You'll have to break provincials, but you can't ship them at a regional.
Oh, a little bit of an up and down in the middle. We'll have to see.
Maybe the refs didn't catch it. Nah, they did.
No lift. The bar went lower in its entirety. That's
I've done that
blue.
before. You have a really nice bench, but it just
no more
dips.
changes.
It's a little twitch. You can't control it. It's not something that happens all the time. It just happened that day. Unfortunate.
And I'll speak to this as someone who competes in a bench press. Sometimes it's not a matter of strength, it's a matter of your brace or your tightness.
Oh yeah.
So on the way up, the strength is there, but if you lose that brace or
Bars
tightness,
ready
it
for Charlene.
literally is going to shift, and it might be that downward shift.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. Groove matters. There's just so many variables. You might be used to a different type of floor, and then you come to a carpet. You know, carpets and meets can be.
I had to learn that, the carpet, yes.
Carpets can be slippery, they can be sticky, you can be used to this, you can be used to that, you can be used to wedging your feet in a certain way or twisting them, and it's just not the same as you're used to.
Yeah, as a new lifter a couple years ago, 3 years ago, I had to learn that a lot of these meets are done on a carpet. And it's a different feel in terms of using your feet.
I'm used to a horse stall mat at the gym, and then I come to a slippery carpet because I just, you know, the deadlift baby powder maybe just didn't get cleaned up or something, and they're slipping. If you have a bench that's accustomed to that, you know, you're good.
Yeah.
Diana, unfortunately,
Did not make her third.
Take that back. Was that Charlene?
Oh, maybe that was Charlene that did not make her third. Correct.
Diana's coming up.
We're ahead here on the graphic.
I was going to say, Diana needs this one to stay alive in the meet. She's 0 for 2 in the bench thus far.
286 pounds.
Third attempt at 130 kilograms. Both of them were technical no lifts. It wasn't a matter of strength. So
Right, correct. So she needs to get this one to stay in the meet.
definitely not an uncertain thing here.
No, to get a 3 lift total. She has
needs this now,
stayed with
folks.
130 kilos, which makes sense. It's a smart move.
Crowd is all quiet and a focus. See what happens here. It's tough mentally to be in the spot where you know you have to get the lift.
Very tough. Oh, that looked good. Come on. Let's see
what
how
they
she
say.
did.
And that is
There
a
we go.
good lift.
All right, good for Diana. She stays in the meet. Nice lift. Certainly lots of strength there. Just had to find that groove with the shirt, and this time she managed it.
Now she gets to go for a nap because all that stress and that adrenaline is gone. She survived. It's big relief, and she's going to be tired.
Yes, that's true.
100 and
It's not all muscular
36
endurance.
kilos.
This is another
200 bars loaded.
This is another
299
chip of sorts. 136 is an odd number.
This up to 300.
This is literally 300 pounds.
This is a 300-pound Canadian national record attempt. She already owns
And you know
it twice
it's
now.
only 3.5
This
kilos
is
more than her
real
last. It's not.
Right.
It's not out of the.
Not out of the realm of possibility here.
Exactly. She's not shooting another 10 or 20 kilos here. This is totally feasible. Let's see what she does. Now this just might be a matter if she wanted 300 pounds.
That's true.
Sometimes
She
people
might-
pick
magic
numbers. Exactly.
Magic numbers they pick out. But she certainly was solid on her first and second.
Patience. Perfect pause.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I think she's got
I
that.
believe that was.
I think she's got
on,
that. There we
You
go.
gotta get up here one more time. You're not allowed to. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new Canadian record.
Another.
You're at a place called Vertigo.
And guess what? Deadlifts are loaded on platform 2.
So Canadian record. She broke her
Next
own record
fight,
twice.
Platform 1.
300 pounds at a 57 kilo class. That's impressive.
Very, very, very impressive. She'll be going to Worlds. The Carly
We're
Hornsby.
pulling on two.
First
Carly.
deadlifter on platform 2.
209 pounds. The lift is
Big
good
smile.
for Carly.
Yep. Big
And like we
smile.
said earlier, there's just the one command in the deadlift. You just get it down when the referee in the front sees that you're controlled and locked out.
Let's talk a little bit about that down command. When the lifters get the down command, you have to be in control of the weight. You cannot drop the weight.
Exactly. There's arguments between, different, people on how fast it can go down. The rules say as long as it's controlled on the way down and you're not letting go, it's good. Sometimes people put it down absolutely silently. Sometimes they'll put it down fast and it's loud, but as long as it's controlled, technically it's a good descent.
The one thing you cannot do is you cannot let go of the bar.
Cannot let go.
That will be a no lift
Oh
if you let go of the
yeah,
bar.
Fraser. He nailed that one like a laser.
In 2024, in modern times, we'll see not Victoria here per se, who does a very nice lift.
Yes.
We'll see people, they've been told to pull the slack out of the bar, which means, you know, before the bar goes in the air, you're going to maximize the amount that your body's already engaging with it before it goes up all the way. You're going to pull the bar into the plates without it actually leaving the ground. There's been a trend recently, though, that people are kind of jerking it off the ground when they're doing their setup. They're doing these fake attempt, these false starts like you see in a practice golf swing. So hopefully we're not seeing that today, because I've seen referees catching that more and more lately.
There's a very, very well-known lifter that used to be in Calgary that is now in, I think, Spokane that does that. Very world-class caliber lifter. He'll, 2 or 3 times it looks like he's going to lift it, and then on that 4th attempt he'll lift the bar.
Deadlift styles have changed over the years, that's for sure.
They have. That taking the slack out of the bar, that you get coaches that say you want that bar almost to be, or the weight to be floating before you pull.
Exactly.
And then there's other people, as you pointed out. Now there's some newer lifters that are doing this jerk off the ground. I'll just, as an older lifter, I'm not sure my back would like that approach.
Yeah, everybody's got their own style.
Yeah.
And with the deadlift, there's 2 different general techniques you can use. The conventional deadlift where your arms are outside your legs, or the sumo deadlift where your arms are inside your legs. In various degrees out in between. Your legs can pretty much go all the way out to the plates. We've seen people break their toes from going too far. That bar will go down and bounce, and people will crush their toes, so that's not a great thing to see. But
so when we talk about sumo versus traditional, and we'll see this on the platform in a minute here, and we can mention it. Mention the different muscle groups that are prioritized, because they are different depending on the lift you do.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to engage your lower back a lot more with conventional. You're going to get that posterior grouping on your legs more with the sumo deadlift. It's a lot of times it's basically just about your limbs, though. If you have that torso that can stay upright and get yourself close to the bar and minimize that bar path while your legs spread wider, it might be the thing for you to do. We generally find lighter lifters are using sumo, heavier lifters are using conventional, but that's not necessarily dead set either. Just like we'll see a lot heavier lifters will be using the high bar technique in squats. It's less rare the lighter you get generally, I believe, statistically. But yeah, it's sometimes just preference. Sometimes people's different leg groupings, like conventional is going to be a lot more power off the floor. It's going to be slower off the floor in a sumo. Yeah, there's a variety of factors. Positioning is usually the biggest one.
We'll see Christina here doing a sumo approach. Not a super wide sumo, but sumo style. And again, like you said, you want the bar as close to the body as possible. If you have that leverage to pull it up and not fall over or not feel like you're not balanced, that can be very beneficial for lifters.
Yeah, if you're a person that maybe has a glute injury and you don't want to do sumo, or you got a low back injury, you can't do conventional without feeling like you're going to explode. A lot of times people switch styles just based on that. But you find when people are starting at the exact same weight randomly, they're just going to be stronger at one or the other. You've seen some elite level lifters, though, that have switched into their career. They think of a Canadian athlete like Bryce Krawczyk used to be a conventional lifter, and now people that didn't see him back in the day will think he's only ever done sumo. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes people lift and change their styles for a variety of reasons. Maybe they gain weight, lose weight, and it's just different. I know the lighter I am, the easier it is for me to sumo. My gut helps a lot when I'm in conventional.
Sure. And now we've got more Dara doing conventional.
36 pounds.
Again, even with conventional, you do want the bar to stay as close to your shins and your thighs as possible. Let's talk a little bit about lifters use chalk to grip the bar, but when we're doing deadlifts, they use something else to help the bar slide up the thigh.
I have also seen people use chalk on their thighs thinking that it was the cool thing to do. Chalk on their shins. They don't realize that other people are using baby powder. Baby powder helps sort of slide the bar up without resistance. Baby powder is more of a lubricant in that way, whereas chalk is going to actually help maintain sort of a stickiness within your hand that's going to be able to allow to prevent slip. People using it for the grip, gets into the knurling of the barbell, and you're less likely to drop it that way.
Well, and the thing is now we're into deadlifts, people are sweating. I mean, there's a lot of exertion going on here. That powder might take away from some of the stickiness on the leg too.
Oh, exactly. So. You look at Giovanna here. She has a nice lift, 3 whites.
Yep.
You can see on her thighs there, she's got concentrated baby powder.
She does.
It's allowing her arms to, no matter how much they contact her thighs there, yeah, they're just going to slide as if it's, dry, I don't know, just a material that's not going to have friction on it, I guess. Right. It's just an anti-friction component to a lift.
And it's always fun. It's always fun to be back in the warm-up room, and nobody wants the powder anywhere near them because you do not want that baby powder anywhere near you except on your thigh on a deadlift.
Well, and that's why we try to position the barbell outside of the wherever they're scraping it. Generally, I mean, it changes over the course of a week, but generally you scrape closer to the front so that people aren't walking through the stuff you're scraping off. Every attempt on a third round of deadlifts, we need to scrape the bar, wipe the bar off of just to ensure that everybody has a sort of similar chance at not being so covered in all these powders and fluids and everything.
That's a solid deadlift by Carly.
Absolutely.
Or not Carly, excuse me. In a 52 kilo class.
We see the name change, we read the new name, and it throws us off.
The graphics are that good. They're right on top of everything here. We have Zaid with his first equipped bench.
Zaid giving very specific instructions.
Starting out at 262.5 kilos for an opener.
Jeff Butts.
He's a strong man.
He's a very strong individual.
Carly on 2. Carly.
Again, both he and Brian are competing for national team spots.
226 pounds.
It's interesting in the 120 plus class for men and 84 plus class for women, there is no body weight limit. So Zaid, sorry, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing correctly, he's almost 152 kilos. He's got nearly 14 kilos on Brian.
Yes.
Which has to be a factor.
Well, and we know some lifters, once you get into the 120 plus, 120 plus is anything over 264 pounds.
Yeah,
so that's a wide range. There are lifters that are 290 pounds, there are lifters that are close to 400 pounds in that category.
Oh, exactly.
622 pounds.
So it's an interesting weight class. And what I like about it is, yes, these are large individuals, but you still have to be athletic to do this at this kind of level.
Oh, exactly.
So they're very strong individuals, but they're also very athletic because you cannot be a power lifter and do all 3, squat, bench, deadlift, and not be athletic.
That's the thing about weight class sports, though, is you can be any size and still compete.
And that's why I think it's very much an inclusive sport in the sense of people find it welcoming because you can find your place.
Absolutely.
So.
There's just, I don't know, think of a sport like maybe gymnastics. If you were not at a low body fat,
you pretty limited.
You have a very limited opportunity. And to be able to have pretty much any body size person compete, it's such an all-inclusive thing for people that may not otherwise have other athletic opportunities just based on what their body shape is. So it's awesome to have that in powerlifting. See Brian having quite the fight with the bar to get it down, but his way up, it looks quite straight. Let's see what they say.
No lift, you got a blue and a yellow.
We've talked about the different fouls on the bench before.
Down on the bar. Not sure about the yellow.
See, the jury's going to go talk to the head ref about what the yellow was. Could have been a number of things. Wasn't the cleanest lift. I doubt it's overturned, but
no,
not dead set certain. Those deadlifts on platform 2, they're already on seconds.
Wow,
just
second
cruising.
Deadlifts already cruising along.
The meet directors here wanted an average of 60 seconds or less per attempt, and I think we are surpassing that.
Yeah, they are moving us along.
I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but if it's 2:13 and we started at 12, I believe.
Yeah.
2.5 hours for these deadlifts for platform 2. That's impressive.
We are going to be done deadlifts probably by 3 o'clock on platform 2, which is very quick for
130 kilos.
a
Yeah.
three lift flight.
If I'm not wrong, we have 16 lifters, so yeah, that's a fast meet. These spotters are going very fast.
All right, we have got Jeff attempting 130. Pretty safe opener for him.
And Jeff's lift is good. 2 to 1.
Can't tell if he's in a singlet or a shirt. Didn't get a great look.
Yeah, I think he did that one classic. I don't think he had an equipped shirt on for the first one.
Looks like it, just the normal insert like from this distance. Neil was a grade 3 white lift there.
And again, knowing Jeff, he typically lifts equipped, so he might just be doing that to get a total. He might need a total for something.
Exactly.
So.
Bar is ready for Christina. 314 pounds. Graham Gerlach.
Graham on platform 1, Christina on platform 2. It is fun to watch the dichotomy between the 2 lifts and see 2 of the 3 lifts at the same time.
Exactly.
I find that kind of interesting. We've also got equipped versus classic. Graham with a pretty easy second attempt. It looks like
No lift, he beat the press command.
Oh.
Platform 1, he beat the press command.
Can't quite hear that back where we are, but Gino helped us out here. He did jump the press command,
3 white
which means
lights
he
on 2.
did not wait for it, and that is a foul.
I want to say that I've been just had a thought that we haven't been explaining the fouls in deadlift, because so far there's been no
Hasn't been one
missed
yet.
deadlifts.
There hasn't been a missed deadlift yet. That's awesome.
We're at, I think, 12 or 13, 14 deadlifts in and nothing.
The lifters on platform 2 are
Exceptional.
rocking it.
There you go.
Yep, they're doing it. So when you have a foul in a deadlift, obviously there's an up and down, just like there is in a bench press. There's also a soft knee lockout at the top. Other possible fouls that are common ones.
Yeah, so the 3 cards for deadlift, the red card is going to be you're not locked out at the shoulders or the knees, standing upright. Blue card is going to be you might hitch or you might support it on your thighs. Hitching being that you kind of use your thighs a middle way up. Generally, we look to see if the skin or the fat of the thighs is kind of rolling up underneath. It's kind of a good telltale.
Right.
Or the bar is going downward when it's on its way up. And yellow is any of the other things. Maybe you take a step or you drop the bar or you just don't have the strength.
You could potentially jump the command.
Exactly, all the command. The command. I've seen it happen.
Gio.
Sometimes people will be losing their grip at the top and then they go down.
That's true too. Yeah.
52
So they're not technically intentionally trying to jump the command. They have to let it go.
That's why they wait for you to have control at the top sometimes. It's just you see it sliding in their fingers. You see Giovanna here, I think. She might have a hook grip. No, just cross grip. So yeah, generally you see either hook grip or cross grip in a competition. Cross grip or mixed grip is where the hands one way is pronated, one way is supinated. It's just a stronger way to hold onto the bar, less likely for it to fall than a normal double overhand grip. And hook grip is where you're going to see their index finger, at least, maybe other fingers too, wrapping around the thumb, kind of creating I don't know how to explain it, other than a hook. It's much less likely for your thumb to slide out when it's being supported over top.
See them at the window.
Lifters are allowed to have a double roll loop of medical tape around their thumb. Other than that, they need special approval from the jury for any other added taping on their bodies.
And knowing that, I mean, I do a mixed grip. I don't do a hook grip because my thumbs don't like that. I mean, my body doesn't like that. My coach does do a hook grip. It really is a personal preference. The one thing I have noticed is that if someone does do a hook grip, it's typically with a sumo lift. Not always, but more generally with a sumo lift. I don't see a lot of traditional deadlifters doing a hook grip, except maybe at the very elite levels.
Yeah, and I think at the same time it's
painful.
It's very painful. A guy like me, I've never done it because I found it hurts, and I have very small thumbs. Look at those things, tiny.
Okay, for those of you that can't see it, Matt has small thumbs.
So I can't even. It's like smaller than a quarter, that hole that I'm making. It's not feasible, it's not responsible for me to try and do that.
And my issue is, one, it's painful as you point out, but two, I have arthritis in my hands, so they really don't like that wrap going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
It's been explained to me that, as someone who's never done it, that when you confidently can do a hook grip, you're never going to drop it, whereas you may drop it with a cross grip, but it hurts.
But you have to get that hook grip down just right. Yeah,
so you have to be good at it and willing to take that pain. Noah had a very smooth bench press.
452 pounds, the lift is good.
Carly with a big grind, but she pulled it out.
Yeah, that's our third.
3 for 300
with that.
3 for 300 deadlifts.
That's
update. We are Victoria's son is our second deadlifter, and thus far in Flight A, 0 missed lifts for the deadlifts.
Good for her. So we have the female junior lifters just crushing it on platform 2. Very few missed lifts.
The let's see. So the Jenny versus Giovanna battle for first place in the 52s is going to be quite close, I think.
Okay.
They're going to be fighting it out on the thirds here.
We'll have to keep a close eye on that one. Nathan on platform 1. Second attempt at 250 kilos.
Victoria on 2. Nathan gets the
that went up and down pretty comfortably. A little bit of a pause near the top, but looks like a good lift, and it is. Here's Victoria.
Victoria is one of, looks like
Here comes Zayn.
5 of 57 lifters. There's a number here. It's a competitive class. She's in 5th currently. But at this point, we are 2.5 differential from first and second in the 52s, and they're posted higher up than all the 57s, so that'll be a battle.
Victoria's happy. She has a successful 3rd deadlift for the day. And as you point out, very close at the top. We'll have to watch that. There might be some jockeying going on once people, make lifts or miss lifts.
2.
Yeah, it looks like Nia and Christina are only both going up 2.5, so they're probably going to be doing some last-minute changes here.
Probably.
They're going to be playing the game. We don't always play the game.
Now we got Zed on his second bench press. He did not get his first one.
I just saw Coach Danny Lee hand in an attempt change, so not sure who he's coaching, but something's going to be changing at those deadlifts. Not to take away from our very heavy equipped benchers.
And oh boy.
600 pounds.
That looked pretty solid. That's a good lift on his second attempt. He's got to be happy with that one. That went up and down pretty comfortably. Ainsley with her 3rd.
So there's another change. I see the score table shouting, change. So we'll wait and see what happens with the deadlifts.
So there is some jockeying going on over on platform 2. Meanwhile, all of the female lifters on platform 2, at least on their 3rd attempts, have been successful, which is great to see.
Yeah.
It's always nice to finish off the meet on a good lift.
Yeah.
622
Now Brian
pounds.
will be doing a slightly higher total for his second attempt at 282.5 kilos. We'll see how this goes. He's got a very wide foot stance. I've noticed that more with equipped lifters. Some of them like that really wide stance.
Yeah. Pros and cons to it. It can be hard on your hips or your knees. Sometimes it makes your feet rocky and your heels might come up a lot easier. Who knows?
Touching. Oh boy.
And the lift is good for Brian.
Oh, he got it. 2 to 1. It's a good lift.
Yeah.
He did get a blue, and to me, at least from where I'm sitting, I might not be correct. It appeared to bobble just a tiny bit at the very bottom.
There you go.
So that might have been the blue. Neha with her 3rd deadlift, and yeah, we are successful lifts all around on platform 2.
So we're going to get a change here probably. Let's see what happens.
Another.
Because they had Christina having 145 as well.
Okay. A little bit of drama on platform 2 now with some changed attempts.
Platform 2.
Maybe not.
Bars ready. Platform 1. Says
Maybe that's what she's going to do.
140 kilos, 308 pounds for Jet.
I guess we'll see.
Christina has.
I guess she's going up with 145.
Yeah, she's posted 145 for her 3rd attempt.
There's a couple changes on the 3 afterwards.
Okay, we'll wait for those. Meanwhile, Jeff is doing his 2nd attempt at 140.
Very smooth.
And the lift is
I do believe he's got the bench shirt on now.
Platform.
I think. Or is that his?
No, it's just
no,
just ends or
it's just a
singlet.
t-shirt and a singlet. So he's chosen to go classic for his bench. Maybe he's just needs a total, or more importantly, maybe he needs a big deadlift for something. We don't know. Here's Christina with her third. Wow.
3 wide rights.
Christina finishes off the day with a nice lift.
Christina. Here comes Graham
And
Gerlach.
we're 21 for 21 on those, those
Yeah,
52, 57 deadlifts.
that's a good thing to see from junior
Laura,
lifters.
364 on the bar.
GG from BC's a marine electrician, works on boats in the bay there.
And he's also lifting without the equipped shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he likes the shirt. I wonder what's going on.
Just with the singlet. Or, yeah, just with this SBD singlet.
Maybe saving it for later. Okay, so we have two
386
people at
on the
165
bar
now with the
for
changes.
Fraser.
So
Wow.
both Dana and Giovanna are at 165, and it looks like
Barbara
Dara has the lower lot number. She's currently
So
first in the 57.
She will be in first if she's successful, but we have two people after her lifting.
She is just, it appears that she is just actually in first place for the 57. She's already secured the gold.
Okay.
It's Giovanna and Jenny that are vowing for the 57, the 52 golds.
That's where we're at.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's been the movement, it looks like.
Okay. Slow up the ground, but let's see.
Bit of pausing halfway up.
Oh, she got it.
There you go,
Yeah,
okay.
2-1, good for her.
Is good on 2.
So first place. Meanwhile, we're waiting for Dustin. He might, oh, Dustin is timing out on his third. So was Dustin successful on his first or second? I believe he was.
No lift on 1.
What's
Here
on there?
comes Gio, 364.
Yeah, Dustin got
If she
his
pulls this
second
up, she
bench.
moves
So yeah, he
from
went from 100 raw to
silver
150 with
to
the shirt.
gold.
Gotcha.
Silver to gold.
He seemed content with that, so 175.
And he had, you know, he had those issues
Gold
with the squat.
medal position,
He might just
gold
want to
for
be
Gio.
saving some energy for deadlifts at this point.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So he got the one successful bench. He got what he needed. Let's take a longer
March
break
ready for Jim.
and get ready for deadlifts.
407.
There you go.
All right, so
Give
Jim
me
is
a
up.
round of applause for Gio. He's pulling for the win. She's pulling for the win.
Giovanna on platform 2, pulling for the win, 165 kilos.
Let's see what happens here. Coach for Jenny might be right there in case she gets this one.
Can she lock it out?
Question mark.
Yes.
Okay, they gave it to her.
Hey,
3
hey.
lights.
Yep.
Is good.
All right, so Jenny is in second.
Gio.
She's changed. She's made a change.
Uh-oh.
She's changing another attempt.
So Jenny is.
All right, here comes Jenny. Same story. If Jenny pulls this up, she goes from silver to gold in the 52 kilo weight class.
What did she?
She's got
So she went up-
369 pounds.
she went up 2.5
She is also
kilos.
pulling
167 and a half?
for the
Yeah,
first
exactly.
place
All right.
position.
So she might have went down actually. I'm not sure. But
Next
anyways,
lifter is
she's projected to
Mommy Shella.
either tie and lose on body weight or win by going 2.5 above. So I guess we'll see.
Yep. I think it's for the win for the 2.5 kilos.
Bars ready
Definitely
for
is.
Jenny.
So there's a big lift for Jenny for the win.
Dominic first.
Yeah. We got Dominic doing.
By the time an equipped bench
195
touched the
kilos.
chest, 3 deadlifts have happened. Okay, Jenny.
Oh, can she lock it? Lock it out.
Oh, she lost
Oh,
in
she
that.
had it. It just
Oh, so close.
slipped out of her hands.
Heartbreaking.
Give her a round of applause.
But that's what you want to see. You want to see people go after that
Right down to the
podium
very
spot,
end.
right on top. Yep.
Let's go to no more
Powerlifting
changes.
is not always
Looking to the
competitive,
next
but that
flight.
class certainly was.
Platform
That was
two,
a
no
very
more
competitive
changes
class
to your openers.
and a
Three
great
wide
flight.
lights
All
on
of the lifters,
platform.
man.
That was our first missed deadlift in the entire flight.
One.
Exactly.
Head two.
That's a
463.
great show put on by those female junior lifters.
Now we're
Bars ready
all
for
flight B for
San
female
Juan.
juniors is going to be 63. So seems that Kaya's got a significant lead over the rest of them, but I guess we'll see what happens when it happens.
All right, so we're on our second flight, platform 2 for our junior lifters. We're finishing up our bench.
Here comes Nathan.
We're still on third attempts for our bench on equipped lifting on platform 1.
463 pounds.
Nathan is attempting 210 kilos
This
for
is
his last
He's tying a PR. It's his best ever bench at 210.
third attempt.
He's an accountant and he wants a PR total.
Come on.
Tax season.
That was a no
Just
lockout.
couldn't quite get that right arm to lock out.
1.
Couldn't quite get the lockout on the right arm. Very close.
Tester. Noah, 474.
Got Noah up on platform 1
Noah.
for his third
Here
attempt.
comes Jody Ann, 281.
Noah's best is 205.5.
So another PR if he makes this.
215 for him here if he gets it.
Yeah, PB.
Jodian, nice
Very
smooth
comfortable
opener.
opener,
Yeah.
It is good on platform 2.
So this will be personal best for Noah if he hits this. And looked pretty smooth for a third.
Noah, the lift
And
is
yep,
good.
PB for him, 3 white lights. Nice finish off bench.
The bar's ready, 298.
Ariana's from Vancouver. She's a student at UBC.
Zayd, 617 pounds.
So we've got 2 bench pressers left on our equipped platform 1. Zayd and Brian.
Ariana's working through multiple injuries, he said. This is their third competition. Sometimes just keeping on is harder than anything.
Bar's ready for Zayd.
Nice first
Here
attempt.
comes
Very
Big
smooth, very smooth.
Well
Zayd.
done.
3 white lights on 2.
Zayd is looking for a 280 kilo third attempt. The second attempt
Ayana
moved
on
quite
2.
well for a second attempt, to be
Yes.
perfectly honest.
These attempts are very massive, so. Ayana's best deadlift ever is 143. She's very close to start. Zay's very controlled
wow.
descent, very controlled.
Did he lock it out, though?
Bit of an adventure. Got some ref shoulder
Near
in the way.
top. Oh, he got
Gave
it.
it to
It
him.
is good on 1.
Little bit of a right shoulder adventure there, but he got it.
He got it.
Which was great. Ayana with a very
3
nice
white lights
opener.
for Ayana.
Very good. She's from Saskatchewan.
639 pounds on platform 1.
Brian is trying to finish first in the bench here in the
Bar's
120
ready.
plus category.
Ayana's a barista and a supplement advisor in her third competition. Looks up to Saskatchewan legend Jessica Bittner. Brian
Bar's ready on 2.
Kraustovs. Proud of his calves.
I'm almost amazed when people, powerlifters in particular, say they're proud of their calves.
This is his 21st competition. He's a
Here we go.
railroader.
Here we go.
3 white lights on 2.
Come on. I don't think he locked up.
Humble enough to say no.
Lockout.
It was
The
really
lift on
close.
platform 1.
He just couldn't quite get the lockout.
Sometimes with these singlets, they blend in. Maybe the shadows, maybe the lighting. I don't know. The color of the singlets with the barbell where it touches in the middle nearly. I couldn't tell if he was touching, and they kept moving. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I noticed our head referee was really watching the touch closely on that one. So, okay, we're over. They're going to be starting the next flight on bench press on equipped platform 1. We've got our deadlift last flight on platform 2. We got Sadie up.
Sadie's best competitive deadlift is 145. She's 7.5 over to start.
Another PB for another lifter. Pretty comfortable.
She's one of a few second-time competitors here today.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a good opener for her.
Some of the different provinces have different requirements to get here. I believe in Alberta and Saskatchewan, you need one previous competition.
To go to regionals, you have to have one previous competition. To go to nationals, you must compete at provincials.
There you go.
In Saskatchewan. I think that's true. Is that Manitoba as well?
Manitoba, you have to have done a provincials, I think. It's same with BC. I can't recall. Right. Each province sanctions itself differently on the progress path based on volunteer. Do you have a volunteer? Do you not? Certain places do certain things differently.
Yeah. Volunteer requirements for a lot of provinces. And again, to get lifters and to get people to give back to the sport, to make sure we have enough people to run the meet. Obviously, referees are volunteers.
Emile, she's 165 is her opener today, and her best was 155 in the past.
Another PB opener.
155.
Another personal best opener.
Kaya Chuan, 364.
I took high school French, but it's not there.
Yeah, but you took it a few years ago. I took it a long time ago.
I'm 34 2 days ago, you know.
I'll just say this. I took high school French before you were born. How's that?
Exactly.
It's all gone. It's all gone.
The dictionary was yet to be invented.
No, we had tablets.
There you go.
We had rock tablets.
Slate?
Slates.
Kaya Trong here, our leader. She's in first. Very smooth opening attempt.
Very nice. Good opener. I'm really impressed by the platform too. Just the quality of the lifts, the success rate. I mean, they're hitting all their lifts.
Oh, exactly. Something that's not always talked about with the juniors is, and I don't know how old Kaya is or if she has an advantage in age. I'm not sure. Don't have that stat in front of me, but the difference between being 19 and 23 is quite significant when you talk about development. Same with sub-juniors. The difference between a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old is huge.
It's a big
people often, they grow into their class, right? So same with the masters. A 41 and a 49-year-old are not the same thing.
A 59 and a 60-year-old, because 59-year-olds competing against a 51-year-old, all of a sudden as a 60-year-old, it's a whole different ballgame.
All of a sudden you're the young guy again.
I'm the youngest again. It's a nice change.
Jodianne.
A little bit of a wobble, but I think that's a good lift. Yeah, 3 whites, that's good.
This is good.
I want to say thank you to our sponsors once again. The 4 banner sponsors are Olympia In-Depth Performance out of Weyburn, the City of Moose Jaw, and all of the many amenities we have here in Moose Jaw, the hotels and the restaurants, everything. It's been a good host city. Yeah. Our presenting sponsors, SBD. Mom Michaela here wearing all SBD apparel for the most part, matching our sponsor shirts and sponsor socks, graciously provided by SBD. And Inner Strength Products, their main base is across the street, nice and local, selling all kinds of merchandise. Just not there today for her.
Not on her second attempt. We have Ariana up next. And again, we mentioned a very strong 63 female junior class. These lifters are on their second attempts. There is fatigue setting at this point for lifters. I mean, you're on your 8th lift. It's been a long afternoon. So managing that fatigue is also part of the strategy.
Oh, exactly. You're from BC, so that you're traveling. There's the, home field advantage is a big thing when it comes to just traveling energy. To get from BC to here, I'm not sure what city Ariana's from, but, even a major city with an airport, you got 6-8 hours to get here. Weather, you could have been delayed 5 hours, 2 days, who knows?
Which is good.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, and when you talk about it in the elite international level, travel on something like a strength exercise is huge.
Oh, exactly. You got to go from Moose Jaw to Estonia. The time travel's...
Oh, my goodness. Time zones, the travel.
if you lift in the morning at 8 a.m. every day, that's your time, and then you got to go lift at 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. or 11 p.m., you're not used to it. That's what they have to
Sitting
do.
in an airplane for 10 hours with no stretching, no ability to do anything.
Especially when you're a Masters 3.
Yes, especially when you're a Masters 3. Ayanna with her second deadlift. It's a narrow sumo, but
Yeah.
I believe successful. Yep, there we go.
A lot of people call that the semi-sumo when it's just outside.
Just enough to let the hands sit inside the knees.
Back in the day when I used to deadlift, I liked the semi-sumo. It didn't hurt as much as the other two.
Yeah, it's the sumo is not my lift. I don't have the hips for it. I cannot open up my hips to do sumo.
Shakira once told me, my hips don't lie, right?
Exactly. There we go. And this is Teresa with a much wider sumo stance. This is her second.
I can never say it. Kukitlam, is that right? She just wants to slay with the nails emoji. That's her goal today, to slay. 2-1.
Nope.
Good job.
Teresa successful with her second. Just wants to slay. Okay. I do not try to keep up on all of the young people's stuff. Talk, Instagram, I don't. It's fun. My college age kids tell me about it all the time and it goes right over my head. So.
The juniors. We thank our meet directors for limiting the amount of people in the back. At a local meet, you may get a significant amount of juniors and the crew in the back, but we were at a high-level meet today, so it's one coach per athlete, which I don't know if all of our viewers may know that. You only get one coach if you're unequipped. They allow you to have two coaches in the back for our equipped athletes to help with the wrapping and the shirts and stuff like that.
Correct.
So no wild squads like you may see at some unmoderated local meets sometimes. In general, we're seeing a lot less of that overall as the sport grows, but Emily doing great work.
Yeah, talking about the warm-up room in the back, it can get kind of chaotic, especially if you have lots of people in the back. It's not controlled. You've got people that beyond the coach might be a family member, might be a close friend.
No more changes.
They might be helping and they might just be there for moral support, but it gets to the point where, like as you pointed out, there's too many people back there. We're lucky that we have a big space in the back. We've talked about that. They have 6 platforms for warm-up. But it really needs to be just the key personnel, essential personnel. Let the lifters focus on what they're preparing for. Let the coaches help them. As you pointed out with equipped lifting, especially when it comes to wrapping and the shirt, bench shirt, it's nice to have an extra person. The wraps can be a real challenge at times, and the bench shirt can be a challenge at times.
Oh, exactly. Also want to take an opportunity to thank Niche Media. They have media packages available online at their websites for all athletes. Taking care of our photos and videos today. Very high quality product. Handling all our CPU events from here on out. Very busy schedule for them between the Westerns, Easterns, and Centrals in the last month.
386 on the bar.
All happening within 5 weeks.
A lot of equipment, a lot of personnel. See the team wandering all over the event, getting shots, all angles.
Bars
Photos and
loaded.
videos for athletes to be able to commemorate in high quality. Now Kaya's on her second, finishing off our seconds here with 175 kilos. She's already at 89 GL points. She hits this, she's at 91.
Yep, she's using a traditional stance.
Absolutely phenomenal.
She had more in the tank.
She crushed that.
She had more in the tank.
Now our lifters Giovanna and Jenny from the first flight, they both accomplished 92.7, 92.8. Giovanna slightly higher on the GL. Kaya has an opportunity to become the best lifter of the session, however. She's 91.6, and she may be able to push that past 92.86 and be the best lifter of the session. We'll see what happens on her thirds. She can still change it twice if she wants. Every third attempt in a deadlift may be changed twice as long as it doesn't go, as long as it doesn't reduce the weight on the bar. we are
Just
5 seconds away from starting deadlifts in the equipped lifters.
Frankie will start our deadlifts on platform 1 for the equipped lifters at 105 kilos. That'll start any minute now. We've got Michaela on for an opener, or sorry, third deadlifts, excuse me, her first of her third deadlift.
First of the third round.
Yes, that's what I meant.
There we go.
Platform 1.
I need food.
You've earned it. No lift for her there.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of running out of gas at this point for her. She had some very good lifts earlier in the meet, and I think it's just a little bit of just ran out of gas.
No, it's unclear what's happening on platform 1. It might be technology, might be something else. They've called for the bar to be loaded. The timer's not rolling, and that might be
the issue is the timer. Yeah,
we'll see.
Whichever way you want to go.
So they'll be hand timing this.
But it is a very easy opener.
Yep, nice opener for Frankie.
You see Frankie's wearing just a singlet. Deadlift suit's also canvas, and doesn't give probably as big of a percentile advantage as the squat suit or the bench suit, but it still does help. Adds kilos in most people that use them. Just like there are some people that wear a belt and it won't actually help their numbers, but they'll wear it.
It's a psychological advantage for them. They feel better.
It's usually the people that are in the best shape where a belt doesn't help. They've got a six-pack and that is their belt. That is not me. Jody Ann, big grind.
She's grinding it.
Usually when you clear your knees and sumo, you're good. So close. Marnell is a very narrow grip, and she has to contend with the smooth of the barbell. But she does it just great.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, the bar, there's a groove or a grip that you grab, but there's also a smooth part to the bar. And depending on how you deadlift, you might wind up grabbing the smooth part of the bar.
Exactly. You get that a lot with smaller people. You know, generally, the younger and smaller the person is, the narrower they are.
Their hands aren't going to go that wide.
Their shoulders aren't that wide, so that's really where your hands are following. And when you have to hold on to smooth, that's the exact opposite purpose of having knurling. So these people have to contend with that. So you see a lot of them doing hook grip if they can, because it sort of overrides the knurling.
Right.
Sometimes on these Alicos, the barbells, they have the sticker on it. So that can be a factor too if they have to hold air.
Shara with a good deadlift on the platform 1. Yeah, I mean, that knurling is a huge part of gripping the bar. For those lifters, like you said, the smaller lifters, the junior lifters possibly, grabbing that smooth part of the bar, I can't imagine as a lifter myself grabbing it, but as you mentioned, the hook grip might mitigate some of that.
276.
There's the downside of gripping too narrow as well, and that might be why she got a red Martinello a few lifts ago. Just to pull your shoulders forward. So one of the things you need to do is have your shoulders back to not get a red card on a deadlift. So sometimes it's just a positioning thing. If your shoulders are too far forward, maybe you widen your grip a little bit and you just automatically get it.
All right, love the bar.
Work smart, not hard, they say in nursing.
298, platform 1. Bar's ready.
So we have Jeanette coming up on our equipped platform, platform 1.
Platform 2.
First attempt.
Jeanette is wearing a suit, I believe.
Yeah, it does look like, yeah, I think she is.
You can tell by the seams on the legs, it's a little thicker. It's hard to see from her vantage point.
That's what I was going to say, the seaming. Very comfortable first attempt, looks good.
Three wide legs for her.
Yep, good for her.
Ayana.
Now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more attempts for platform 2 before the end of their session, so we will be able to highlight just the equip to close this off here.
All right.
Looks like
63s, where are we at with?
we're at Ayana. She's in second right now, so the others have a chance to lap her with their deadlifts.
Is my keeper in second?
Says she's placing second now.
Beautiful, Ayana.
See what happens.
Yeah.
There you go.
Lift for her.
So she's in second. So while Teresa and Emily and Sadie may have a stronger deadlift at this point, they're not necessarily the stronger total.
Natalie with a good lift. Maria is up.
So at this point, Kaya has a 415 standing total on top of Ayana's 382 final total. So it's safe to say Kaya's going to be our number one. But there might be a battle for silver here. We'll see. Depends what they do here. Or at least for bronze. Yeah, it looks like they'll be battling for bronze between Emily and Sadie. It's always nice to try and make a battle out of anything in powerlifting.
Yes, yeah. We've got Maria with her first deadlift on our equipped platform.
And on top of deadlift records, we can also start seeing total records.
Total records will possibly start coming here.
Oh, you made that fly like a kite.
Teresa lost her grip on hers, platform 2. Again, we talk about, you know, those third attempts are often a reach. They're often for a record. They might be for a national team, might be lots of reasons. But if you're going to fail, you want to fail trying on your third attempt.
369 pounds for Emily.
It's the best time to do it, especially on deadlifts. There's nothing that comes after.
Yep.
Unless you get a relift.
Unless you get a relift.
I'm just going to check my scoreboard over here. So far, everybody's alive in this competition. I was no bombs thus far.
No bombs.
When we say bomb, we mean they've not successfully completed a lift.
Kate with a good lift.
Good. Bars ready on platform 2 for Emily.
I noticed one of the things that we don't talk about is when you are doing equipped lifting and you're wearing a squat suit or a deadlift suit or a bench shirt, often you are slipping off your shoulders on your deadlift suit or your bench or your squat shirt between lifts to allow your body to relax. When you get into that suit, it is a compression of sorts.
Hard
Same
to
with the
breathe.
bench shirt.
Yeah.
And so we don't talk about that these folks are basically setting up, breaking it down and resetting up for each lift.
It's like they call it caregiver burnout with the coaches too, because they're the ones ripping it on and off for them.
The handlers and the coaches are the ones that are helping them with all that, and that goes back to the point we made about you need a supportive community to do equipped lifting, in particular.
Yeah, I mean, you could take anybody off the streets to run your numbers for unequipped. If you know you're going to hit 100, 120, 140 that day, and it's not, whatever. It's a lot simpler to do that than to pull somebody off the street that doesn't know anything about powerlifting to help you with the finer aspects of your bench press shirt, right?
Exactly.
It's expertise is much more valuable in the coaching in that perspective. Char getting very, very close with that one. Let's see what the judges say. Got one no lockout. Knees or shoulders, not positive which.
It did seem the shoulders were not quite back all the way at the top. Probably easier to see from the front than the side, maybe.
Yeah. That's the thing with vantage points, though. Sometimes the front will never see a bent knee just because of
the angle.
Who knows? Yeah.
407.
See, in the deadlift, they have to wear shin-high socks. Has to be just below the kneecap, theoretically. Sometimes lifters forget this, or their socks just don't wrap up high enough, and they have to switch at the last moment, or there's something rips. It protects the shins from bleeding. A lot of people have been in the gym deadlifting, and all of a sudden there's blood everywhere. So we want to minimize the amount of bodily fluids out there.
Well, and that's the point that we haven't brought up yet is when you're deadlifting, there can be, I mean, because you're trying to keep the bar as close to your body as possible, close to your legs as possible. That's why you have the talc, the baby powder on your thighs. It's also why they wear the socks, is to protect those shins as you're pulling the bar up. It doesn't protect them completely, but it does offer some protection.
And then on top of that, we have bleach sprays. There's all kinds of bodily fluids. You got blood, urine, spit, vomit. You never know. Deadlifting.
You had to go there, didn't you?
It happens. It happens. It's all about the safety of the lifters, though.
You had to go there. We have all kinds of body fluids, Matt. Let us know. All right.
Well, you're seeing.
We're trying to think of other ones, but we've only got a few so far.
Color commentary.
Ready for Frankie on
Oh,
one.
you see intense people squatting sometimes.
Literally the definition of colorful commentary.
You get go Kaya.
Go, Kaya.
Massive deadlift.
Yeah.
I think she's got it.
The lift is
There you
good.
go. Guys had a great meet.
And that's it. That platform 2 is done.
Oh, she's had a great meet.
9 for 9 Kaya went, as did
Good for
Sadie.
her.
Our two 100%ers in that session.
There you go.
93.276 GL for Kaya. She'll be the best lifter of
In
the
the 63s?
63s.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's just been solid every single
Marnell
lift.
Spencer.
We have Marnell left. Now we focus our attention on the equipped platform. We still have second and third attempts left for our equipped lifters.
Oh, is there any more now?
Seconds for the female lifters, and then we'll go on to the men after that. Marnell is attempting 122.5
47 kilo
kilos.
lifter.
This is a 47 kilo lifter,
Weighs 102
lifting almost,
pounds.
not quite, but
Something
certainly
like
over 2.5 times her body weight.
And she's on the smooth and the Eleco sticker because of her
boy.
very narrow grip.
Yeah, because of her grip. Wow. Good for her. That is so difficult. Now, was that a full lockout? Well, she got
This
2 to
is
1.
good.
Good for her.
Her Eleco sticker was slipping a little bit there in her hands too.
And for her to have to grip that smooth part of the bar with that narrow grip, that is so hard.
Yeah.
Shara's up next. Second attempt at 130.
Bars ready for Shara. 286. After Shara comes Mega.
I believe, yes, she does have the deadlift suit on. Yep. It's interesting to watch the number of equipped lifters that are going raw either on deadlift or bench.
Pretty wide
Much
legs.
tighter, just a much tighter brace when you have that suit on.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we pointed out, they may not need the suit for the total they were trying to get. They may not need the suit for the one lift, whether it's bench or deadlift.
Bars ready for Mega.
As you pointed out, the
292
deadlift suit
pounds.
doesn't necessarily
On
help
bar for
everybody.
Mega, nothing
Yeah.
next
It
to
helps some
Janet.
lifters more than others. I don't know that that's true generally for the bench press shirt, but I do know a few lifters that their bench equipped and raw or classic is pretty similar.
Yeah. You got Maeva doing a conventional.
Yeah.
She's wearing a suit, and
Yep.
it helps.
Solid.
National record in
Another
total.
national record, wow.
Another national record for Maeva.
Yeah, for total. So her 3 lift total on her second attempt is a national record.
Beautiful thing.
Wow.
Janet. 314. Then Natalie.
And that
That's
national,
ready for Janet.
that deadlift for that national record went up and down pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. Jeanette's newer to equip lifting. She went, I think, second in the world at unequipped, and then those pesky Haywoods in Manitoba invited her out to try equipped, and now she loves it.
Well, you lost one to equip, did you?
It's amazing how a vet can have done it. She's been lifting for 10 years, but
Yeah.
just
This
now
is
starting
good.
equipped, it's inspiring.
You know, the one thing about equipped bench, I can't
Natalie.
speak to the other one, deadlift or
147
bench
and
or
a half
squatting,
kilos.
is it does
Then
save wear and
Maria.
tear on your shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And for someone who's had rotator cuff surgery and bicep surgery, doing equipped benching takes a lot of the stress out of it.
Bars ready for Natalie.
Oh, yeah. I always think that I'm going to go put a suit on and be an equipped squatter, but just to save my back and my hips, but it's just, no.
Just not.
I prefer my Nautilus machines at this point in my pre-back surgery career.
Stop.
Not like Natalie. Natalie's got a great deadlift.
Good job, Natalie. That looks good. Solid lift.
Perfect weight for
Yeah.
her there.
And the lift is
I was
good.
using Nautilus back in 1982. Fred Jones invented Nautilus back in 1971, and Mike Mintzer, the bodybuilder, and a couple of other people, Casey Viator, were a couple of the guinea pigs he used to prove his point that you could become a huge bodybuilder
Bars
on
ready for
Nautilus.
Maria.
I'm not sure there was
Frank.
much truth to that, but if you like lifting on Nautilus, they are nice machines.
187.5 kilos, 347.2 pounds.
Amy Frank.
Now, does this put her at a national total? Not quite. National record total? I don't think quite yet. Nice lift, though.
And the lift is good. Walk on.
I think she must be close to a national total record.
We'll find out on the third
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
Bars ready for Kate.
We got our equipped records out here.
Kate pulls traditional, very narrow stance, double overhand, hook grip. Nice second lift.
Surprised we haven't heard Gino to explain the double overhand
BY
hook
likes
grip.
to Kate.
That's his favorite thing to say, double overhand hook grip sumo style deadlift. All right. Diana came back from a near grave exit from the bench press, got a
Yes.
third.
Yes, she did.
She likes that it is a tangible form of self-improvement.
There you go.
It's measurable. Very empirical lifter.
Nice second lift. Double overhand hook grip. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I enjoy about lifting is just the fact that it's numbers. You can't, I mean, it's constantly looking at numbers and figuring out what the numbers mean, what they are, what you need.
Her nickname's the Blade. She's very sharp. Charlene's up next.
I did not know I was with Shecky Green over here. That's a name most of you don't know.
No, definitely not. Okay, Charlene here. This is her best ever deadlift in the past.
Personal
She's
best
matching
for-
it.
She would match a PB here.
Oh,
No.
lost her at the top.
Not quite at the top. And that's an issue that you're going to have a lot more often with a sumo than you will with a traditional, is that last little bit of lockout.
Chantel, 429 pounds. Now,
Chantel's up now.
bars ready for Chantel.
Very high quality stream for us. You can see every detail in there. Ryan Stin, meet director. Coach Chantel. Perfect
go.
form.
Yeah, that looked pretty solid for a second attempt. And we are now on our third deadlifts for the female lifters. Frankie will start us off with 122.5 kilos.
Take one photo for a memory. Very good.
We have, the room is starting to fill up. Probably in anticipation of the last session, but also to watch the end of this second session.
Oh yeah.
It's a nice facility for us because we can literally fill the room up. We've got room for hundreds of people if we get to that point. And a really supportive crowd. I think it's more than just family and friends. Moose Jaw has a strong lifting community.
270 on the bar.
This is a very big event for a city the size of Moose Jaw. So
Yeah, I think they're grateful they were able to have the venue for the week and really take their time to prepare, because I don't think anybody saw 400 plus lifters coming here. And
I don't think anyone saw over 400.
I
No.
think if people are grateful that the team was able to accommodate, because that is a lot of bodies for a regional championship.
That is.
The Stins and Fowlers have done an excellent job running this thing.
They have a lot of work put into this. I know firsthand of meets both in Canada but even in the U.S. that are national meets that don't have the numbers that are at this meet.
Exactly.
Marnell.
Marnell's working on
kilos, 282
could be deadlift, could be total, could be both.
He wants to close it out with a bang. She wants to close it out with a gold medal and
M347.
Canadian national record. She wants all the marbles.
She has all the marbles already.
Well,
She's going up to 128 from. Yeah, this will be the total record.
a total or a deadlift or both?
Both.
There you go.
She'll have all 4 records if she gets it today.
This is quite the day.
This is for
Mark.
everything, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the old
Bars loaded.
total is 310.5.
Canadian national record in deadlift and total percent.
There we go.
She'll get 312 if she hits it. So yeah, this is all 4 records right here.
282.
Lock it out. Lock it out.
Oh my God.
She did it. I think she's got it.
Spotters are in disbelief
Wow.
by the grind. Oh my God.
She's the best in all of Canada. Give this young lady a round of applause. Masters 3 lifter, putting these other people to shame that are half her age. Way to go, Marnell.
I would have said with 99% certainty at the knees there, that was done.
Yeah.
Good for her.
That is an excellent effort to finish off with both a deadlift national record and a total national record.
Shara.
Yeah, I think she had the squat. Yeah, I think she had all 4 squat bench
I
dead
think she
and
has
total.
all of them
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I think she set all 4 of them.
She last set these records in 2022, so a couple of years to get them back, but she did it.
You know, improving totals and setting records as an M3 lifter is extremely satisfying because people, you know, the general kind of thinking is you can't get better as you get older as a lifter, and that's not true.
Well, it's like running up the down escalator. It's hard.
Oh man, Don Rickles, Shecky Green. I'm gonna start pulling out names. Oh my gosh, here we go. All right, yes, you're right. Maeva's up with her 3rd deadlift.
Maeva.
And I believe this will be a national record.
Let's see what Maeva's on.
It's
140.
either the total or the deadlift is a national. I forget. Yeah, I think it's one of the others.
This is a national record in total.
There you go.
There you
It's
go.
a total
attempt.
record. I knew it was one of the
National
two.
records in total attempt. With the Masters 3 lifter from
337.
Saskatchewan.
Oh wait, no, wrong weight class.
Bars ready for Maeva Bridges. Give her a big round of applause when she gets out here.
This is another one of our M3 lifters setting a national record potentially. Nice. Wow.
You did it.
She definitely had more left in the tank there.
Oh yeah,
That-
she smoked that.
that was too easy. She had more left. So a national total record for Maeva.
Looks like she probably went up a class to just break all the records. Good job, Maeva.
Moving up and down a couple of weight classes. Yep. And a lot of lifters literally sit on the bubble between weight classes.
Yeah.
I mean, they might be, you know, at the top end of a 76, and they might be 5 pounds heavier, and then they're at the bottom of the 84 class, and it might be very easy to move between weight classes.
Yeah, body weight's body weight. She weighed in at 80 even, so that's right in the middle.
Yeah.
Jeanette's here for a 3rd deadlift at 150.
Very solid, yeah.
See it. Each of her attempts is technically better than the last.
Yeah, they've all looked the same, which is what you want. Yeah. As a coach and as a lifter, you want all 3 lifts to look almost identical. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we've got Natalie in the junior 84 category with her last deadlift.
Yeah, there's a lot of gold medals in this session here.
There will be, yeah, there will be with the equipped lifters.
Bars ready, Natalie.
And we got.
Maybe one day we'll have an equipped nationals or equipped regionals.
Well, do you think we'll get to that point?
Hard to say. People have to buy in. The buy-in's been happening recently. More.
I could definitely see us getting to maybe an equipped nationals in the future. It might take a little longer for the regional, but we'll see.
You never know. As the sport grows, they got to keep it reasonable on attendance.
Yep. Come on, Natalie. Oh, couldn't quite lock it out.
I really appreciate the carpeted wood at the front of the platform. It's a good aesthetic. No exposed platform wood.
No
it's
exposed
beautiful.
platform
it's a
wood.
Beautiful
Yeah.
thing. Matches the aesthetic.
That extra little touch.
This venue is so well aesthetically color coordinated. It's really a beautiful thing.
Interior decorator Matt Bowen. I'll give you his cell phone number. You can call him up for living room, bedroom, entire house.
It will be awful, but I'll be able to tell you it's awful. Professional critic. Kate Douglas, 76.
Kate Douglas is up with her 3rd deadlift. She has been very solid. Both deadlifts have looked identical.
This is a record in total, Canadian national record in total.
Oh, another Canadian record. Oh, she just, come on.
Ripping, very smooth.
A little bit of hesitation at the knees, but she pulled that off.
Give her a big round of applause. There you go, Kate Douglas.
That was grit and determination because she had a little hesitation at the knees, but it kept going up.
6 on the bar for Maria Frank. 171 kilos, 377 pounds.
See your head ref, Brian Rock, handing off those chips to the spotters there.
This is exactly 3 times her body weight.
Wow.
57 kilo lifter.
Maria's had quite the day today. She's been setting national records left and right.
Triple body weight, that's huge.
That is a big number.
No more changes. Lifters in the next flight. No
She
more changes.
will be at Worlds for bench
Hard
press.
slowly. Give me a round of applause to Maria Frank. 3 times her body weight. Pulling for the gold medal. Pulling for the Canadian record deadlift. And to break her own record in total.
All eyes on Maria here. Oh, good try.
She was close.
A round of applause. It's all because of you.
Big jump. Yeah. Looks like Diana here is, she hits this, she'll pretty safely secure her best lifter status here. Diana had a really rough go, but she's
really, so she'll secure it based on the points, on good lift points.
She's a very strong lifter. Just with a rough start today, but we'll see how she does here.
Very rough start, very strong 63 kilo lifter. And as we pointed out, now it's been 3 hours ago, you can go 4 for 9, 5 for 9, 6 for 9 and have a very successful meet.
Absolutely. You just need one each.
And you need to recover mentally from a missed lift, and she's done that.
Yeah, I mean, she had her opener squat, then missed 4 in a row, got her 3rd bench. Like, that is a roller coaster.
That's a roller coaster
that
ride.
Was a rough day. But she's 2 for 2 on her deads.
407.
Very narrow traditional stance. There might be a hitch in the. Oh, she's got it.
There you go.
She's got it.
It's a lockout call only. She did it. Wow.
Yeah, good for her. 2 whites.
What a comeback.
Yeah. Successful meet for her. That takes a lot of mental fortitude to miss 4 lifts and come back and just start hitting lifts again.
That's the blade. She did great.
Yeah, she did. Great meet for her after a shaky start.
2 more left for our female equipped lifters here. Charlene and then Chantel. Chantel looks to be going for a national record.
Yeah, we'll get 2 more lifters on the female side. We'll take a short break. Like I think it's a 1 or 2 minute break. And we'll start right into the male equipped lifters.
You know, Frankie did essentially all raw lifting, I think, but went 9 for 9, and Mabel went 9 for 9 as well. You never get 9 for 9s equipped.
That is rare.
Good for them.
That is very rare.
Oh, I was looking at her toe there. That was a very, very crooked lockout. Good job. She did it, though.
It was crooked, but it did not go up and down. Yeah. It was crooked.
Sometimes it's just as simple as where you grip the bar.
Some people have longer arms than others.
Yeah, exactly.
I have one arm longer than the other, and when I do my deadlift, people say it's about an inch difference. It doesn't look a lot different, but you can see it. And so in her case, there might be a number of reasons why one arm looked longer than the other on that one, why the bar was lower. But no bobbles, no up and downs, solid lift.
Last but not least, Chantel, 200.5.
All right, this is
our only lifter to hit 200, and that is a lot of weight. This is a 69 kilo lifter pulling 442 pounds.
442 pounds. Here comes Chantel Such. The bar is ready. Give her a big round of applause.
I think I'm back at the table commentating with Chantel tomorrow. She's going to be exhausted.
She will be tired. She will be tired.
Or the complete other way. Maybe she'll be very hyped up for her successes
today. I think she'll be happily exhausted.
There you go.
How's that? Happily exhausted.
Numerous records potentially. Let's see.
Well, lean it back. There you go.
She got the squat. She got the deadlift. Well done, Chantel.
That is good.
All right, we are done for the female portion of our equipped lifting. Matt, you want to mention our sponsors one more time before we get to the men?
Absolutely. SBD, not just squat, bench, deadlift, but strength, belief, and determination. SBD Canada out of Moose Jaw. And our meet directors, as well as also supported by Inner Strength, another local company from Moose Jaw. All types of products found at innerstrengthproducts.ca. We have Olympia In Depth from Weyburn, a club and gym run by potentially the Fowlers, I believe. There more information found online. And of course, thank you to the city of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, for hosting this and all the other SPA meets that are found in this city.
Dominic is our first lifter for the male equipped deadlift. Successful lift. Well, we thank all of our sponsors for putting on an event like this. It's an event that I'm pretty sure a few months ago our sponsors did not expect there to be over 400 lifters. That involves an additional work for all of them, additional work for our organizers, and it is going off without a hitch. We are moving right along.
Well, if you just think about the platform sponsors themselves, how many SBD shirts and socks they've graciously donated to volunteers, that is a high value, but that's giving back to the sport and showing appreciation to those people that are showing up to help run this thing. You can't run a meet without volunteers. But you're doing 12 sessions with, 3, 4, 5 spotters aside, 2 platforms. That is a, that is a lot of material to hand out, and they do it happily to show sport and give back to the community.
Yeah, a lot of the big events, the international events, national events, could not happen without a sponsor like SBD.
It's incredible.
So, here we go, Nathan, first attempt, 225 kilos, just short of 500 pounds. Nice first attempt.
Lift is good.
Now we've got Dustin, who took a break on his third attempt on bench.
540 pounds for Fraser.
Yeah, it was. He put his weight up to 175. I wonder if that was strategic for a partner and his Saskatchewan team, or if it was just he decided, nah, afterwards. Yeah. You never know, but he's rested. He got another lift off. I've seen heavyweights in you know, 6-7 lifter meets when they're equipped. Those breaks count. They matter.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people skip their seconds outright just to have a break.
3 wide lights.
Very smooth for Dustin.
Yep.
Dustin's one of those lifters. He says he's competed 16 times. I've seen him lift a number of times. I don't remember ever seeing him lift raw.
So he is a basically all-equipped lifter all the
Jim.
time.
Yeah, potentially. They got a lot of specialists out there, and it's nice to see more specialists developing. Jim's the kind of guy that will do 4 meets in a national, so. Oh, he lost the glasses. No lift on lockout. It's
Yeah,
too bad.
I didn't think he had fully extended back enough to be standing upright.
Yeah, it was a tough journey up there.
Noah. 551. Bars ready.
That's a pretty big lift for Noah here.
That's
250, 83. Good start for Noah. Smooth, very
nice,
fast.
smooth opener.
3 wide lights and Noah.
His best ever is 255, so I'm sure he'll crush it in a second. Jeff Dolan up. From a place called Outlook.
Outlook, Saskatchewan.
You know, he works with ammonia fertilizer. I think he must be just an expert in smelling salts. I wonder if he uses them. It appears yes.
I know I'm not supposed to be silent on a live stream, but I don't know what to say anymore.
He just wants to stay in one piece today. That's his goal.
Oh my gosh. Yes, he does.
Come
All
on,
right, let's go,
Jeff.
Jeff.
573.
Oh, just not quite there for the lockout. Interesting lockout. He looks right up at the ceiling, but it's like his shoulders didn't quite.
He did not get his
Get
shoulders
there.
back, I believe.
Yeah, we haven't seen any soft knees,
Brian.
but we've seen shoulders on now 2 or 3
617.
lifters that are not quite standing upright.
Yeah.
And you know, and at this level, the refs will be, you have to nail it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be close, you got to nail it. We got Brian coming up with a 280 kilo deadlift, just over 600 pounds. And it is a competition between him and Zaid right now as far as the 120 plus open class.
There you go.
We'll see that maybe a little bit of jockeying on the 3rd deadlifts here between these two.
There was some chirping about his shirt. His sleeve length has been approved. Jerry stepped in and they had a chat.
Very wide sumo stance.
Very smooth.
Went
See,
up.
he has the wherewithal to
Lift
turn
is
his feet
good.
in. A lot of sumo lifters do.
Yeah. I'm guessing you only do that once in your life.
Zayn.
Make that mistake.
650.
Yeah, I saw some video on the internet one time of somebody breaking their toe, and every time I ever did sumo, I always turned it in. Every single attempt.
So
Bars ready.
here we go with Zaid. He's attempting 295 for his opener. This would put him first overall.
So that's Team
And-
Canada apparel and SPD.
Yep, and traditional stance. Mixed grip. And that went up pretty quick. Boy.
3 wide lights for Zayn.
It's one of those things with heavyweights is there's just too much mass in the middle. You can't
Thank
get
you.
a more
424,
parallel shoulder,
424.
arm, wrist line. You just can't. There's too much body in there. So it may extend your range of motion just a little bit, but it also might make you a bit stronger. Start using your legs more in the squatting position and get it up.
And we are on 2nd attempts now.
Deadlifts always go by the fastest.
Yep, moving right along. I believe we have either 8 or 9 in this flight, in the men's flight. Our last flight of the afternoon session, session number 2.
Bit of a clean, get it prepped.
Bars loaded.
President Jeff, just
424.4.
old, consistent, old, reliable.
Taking care of the equipment for the lifters.
Surprised he's not lifting as well. Yeah, it's a fun fact about SPA is Jeff Butt actually moved over here for a while, helped develop like the entire association, and then moved back to Newfoundland, having started up something special for these guys. He's not fully to credit, but he's a large part of it. So
does Saskatchewan try and claim him, or is he a newfie at
well,
heart?
he's back here wearing SBD and not a
I
ref
see
attire,
that.
right? He's giving back to the sport.
I see that.
He gave me a "back when I used to live here" speech the other day. But we're happy to have him.
Absolutely, and a great choice for the new CPU president.
Exactly.
463 on the bar for Graham.
Graham's wearing Titan on Titan. A couple of Maple Leafs there. Had a rough finish to his bench, but very smooth second deadlift.
Yep. Good attempt.
See Graham popping off his belt. The only thing you can change about your attire on the platform is your belt. Oftentimes people come out with wrist wraps and we have to kick them off. You have to adjust your wrist wraps
Off stage.
off stage,
Yep.
not on.
.518. Bars ready.
Nathan's in the 105 class. Now it's just an unfortunate bar path for him.
Yeah.
One of those
That might be tough. Yeah.
strongman sumos.
That's
All right, just come up and down on the bar and
wasn't the smoothest ascent.
up and down the bar, and he did not rock out his knees.
That's not going to work in powerlifting. We got Jim up, who is in our M2 120 class.
Yeah.
Jimmy, 540.
He did not
Bars ready.
did not hit his first attempt. Missed on the lockout. So we'll see if he can get this on his second. I love his socks. Got great socks.
Absolutely.
They disappear kind of when you stand straight on, but on the side, I love the tube look.
These Lacrettes,
That's
strongest
better.
banker with a very nice deadlift.
That's better. There you go.
This is good for
Solid
Jim.
second attempt for Jim. And the reds are starting to add up here.
Razor,
We've got red plates going on
573.2.
for these
Then
lifters.
Jeff,
Hope we don't have to steal from platform 2 again.
And there might be a little bit of that towards our last two lifters. here.
Yeah.
So Dustin is in first place in our 105 open class.
That's wearing the meat shirt.
Yep.
Very nice shirt. And a Centurion deadlift
There
suit.
you go.
3 white lights. Coach is happy, lifter's happy.
So Jeff's attempting the same way.
573. Tighten up the collars, and the bar's ready.
Yeah, his last attempt he was having trouble with those shoulders, so
Right.
see what happens here.
See if you can get the shoulders back on this one.
His
The strength was there.
His goal today was just to stay in one piece, so whether he makes this or not, hopefully he's still intact.
All right, it went up pretty comfortably. Get the shoulders back.
No, it's probably good enough. Let's see what they say.
I think so.
Oh,
No.
not quite.
He did
Wow.
not lock out his shoulders.
I think part of the issue is the grip, where the grip is.
It's
It
soft
doesn't look
shoulders.
like the shoulders are moving back at the end of the lift.
Yeah, it's tough for those people that just have front protruding belts.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
it's just, I don't know, might have to hyperextend it.
He might have to hyper arch back a little bit just to.
His coach went right to the jury to try and see if she can't do something about it. But
Bars ready, Noah.
yeah, I don't know. It's a subjectivity call. Sometimes those are tough.
After Noah comes Brian.
So this is for almost 600 pounds for Noah.
Oh, very
Nice,
smooth.
very smooth.
I
Second
know
attempt.
lift is good.
Yeah.
Notice that the Mad XT deadlift jacks, they're a nice hybrid
Here
of like,
comes Brian.
I love the
644
wheel on them. That is
Yeah.
such a huge advantage.
in the like the sort of the deadlift jacks wheels I've used in the past. I don't know, they don't move so well. They're not,
Well, they
they're
don't
not,
they don't handle heavy weight.
and they're not wide enough. But
Right.
this is like the best of both worlds of a static jack and one with wheels. So
As someone who used to move furniture, it looks like someone thought this out about heavy weight.
exactly, yeah. You either get the wide, really easy to control, heavier static jack, or you get one on wheels, and you don't usually get both. But
And when you're moving this kind of weight on the jack,
yeah, that's
Brian
a good,
here.
that's a good product. That's a good hybrid product. I like it.
Brian here attempting 292.5 for his second attempt.
He's got the one knee sleeve on. I wonder if he's got an injury or something he's working through.
Might be it.
The lift
And it
is
went up pretty comfortably
Yeah.
again.
good.
And Zaid is going to attempt just over 300 kilos,
Zane,
305 kilos,
672.
staying in first place.
Bars ready for Zane.
His first attempt went up very quickly. And that one went up very quickly too.
Yeah, nothing but a peanut, as they say.
And the lift is good, 2-1.
Well, that takes us to thirds.
Yeah, we're on our third and final attempts for our equipped male lifters on platform 1. This is session 2. We've been here since 12 today. We've had some excellent lifting. We had a nice battle with the female junior lifters, some very consistent lifting by the female junior lifters. And we've had a number of national records set on platform 1 by some of the equipped and masters lifters.
So yeah, it's been a pretty incredible session. Still have an hour until the start of our next session. Lots of time
Yep.
to bridge the gap there.
Yep. Very good way to start our afternoon and our first day off.
You know, it's one of those things when you get to a big meet like this with a ton of moving parts, the last thing you want is a delay in a meet. And yeah, they've managed to really well time out these events today, such that
Bars ready.
we're not pushing back meal timings and weighings and everything so far. It's well scheduled meet.
It's really nice for the lifters to know you're going to lift very close to the time they tell you you're going to lift.
Absolutely.
I won't mention a particular meet I was at a long time ago, one of my first meets I ever went to. I was supposed to lift at 9, I lifted at 1.
Oh, it just throws your whole day, your whole plan off. Real life gets
It
tossed
does.
in the way, so it's really appreciated when a meet runs on time.
Good lift for Graham. That was his third.
Well, that
So
was
we are-
Graham's coming up.
Sorry, Graham's coming up.
The
That
lights
was
were too
Dominic.
fast.
That was Dominic, yeah.
Good job, Dom.
Our graphics are very quick, which is great.
474 pounds. Then Nathan.
Dominic's third and final attempt. Sorry, Graham's third and final attempt at 215 coming up. He's in third place in the 105. We have some strong 105 lifters today in the open category.
You'll notice that he takes a paint. So those brushes, the wire brushes, so I've since learned since I started powerlifting that's to clean your paintbrush. If they're paint
You
scrapers.
didn't know that?
I did not. And then I started painting.
You don't do much painting.
I
that's
do
the
now.
problem. You should. Are you married? Do you have someone who tells you to paint? Because I get told all the time to paint. Constantly. We got another room we need painted.
A good thing you're a deadlifter. Wire brushes. Graham
Exactly.
pulling it up.
Come on, Graham.
Oh, so close.
not quite.
Just lost it above the knees. But yeah, every third attempt between the lifts, they do have to clean the bar, which generally means a brush and a wipe with a towel.
Nathan.
So it's always appreciated if you do it at the front, so the lifters aren't walking through the powder, but it happens. I like to avoid divots in the floor sometimes if you can help it, but at the end of the day, you play with the field that you have. 12 sessions is a lot of sessions for plywood.
It's a lot of sessions for the plywood platform.
They may have to change it out along the way. They may not. Time will tell. It's just such a crisp and clean platform.
It is. It
Shame
looks
to
great.
see it.
No, it looks great. It's gonna take it some wear and tear by Sunday.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Nathan, with his third and final. Working for the lockout. Are they going to give that to him?
Round of applause.
No. Not quite. Not quite on the lockout.
It's too bad.
Yep. He worked hard for that lockout. He just couldn't bring it back all the way.
A bit emotional at the end there. I thought he dropped it on his foot at first.
Yeah, I was a little worried about the way he set it down. Although I think we would have seen something different had it been his foot.
There's a difference between a fracture and a just a severance.
Yes.
Yikes. Another quick clean from Jeff there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left.
Bar's ready. Here comes Jeff. 573 pounds.
Can you believe it? There's only 10 sessions left.
Jeff needs this to get a total. He's missed his first 2 on
Come
lockout,
on, Jeff.
on shoulder lockout.
What can we do here?
What can we do to make sure the lockout happens here? Let's see what he does.
No, just overextend.
Put
Go
your
more.
shoulders
There you
back.
go.
Put
Yeah.
your
Oh,
shoulders
look
back.
at those shoulders back.
Proving that it's possible.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
It's not always a genetic curse.
That is good.
Learning on the fly. Good for Jeff.
3 whites for Jeff. He got those shoulders back just enough.
Cementing himself and everybody else as a session without a bomb. Good job, everybody.
We're still without a bomb. That's
Jim,
awesome.
584.
Jim was successful on his second. He missed his first, so he's gone up a little bit here for his last deadlift. And this will put him second in the M2 120 category for the day.
Bar's ready.
And it's always
Here
nice to
comes
finish
Jim.
with a successful lift.
Yeah, Jim had a couple of rough lifts. Jeff was just had quite a bit stronger deadlift there since he did manage to hit his third.
Get the shoulders back.
Well, that looks all right. What do the referees say?
Jim puts it down like he's in a
Okay.
library.
Where you at, Bart?
Yep. I always appreciate that when lifters can handle the bar on the way down too. So successful lift, successful meet for Jim.
Yeah.
We are on to our last 4 lifters now. Last
Yeah.
3, 4.
Noah's coming up here with 270.
Yeah, Dustin with 270, almost 600 pounds. And
Noah,
270 kilos.
interesting that just looking at the scores here, Noah Villard is significantly higher GL than everybody else in this session.
And that's because
Bar's
as
ready
an
for
83
freeze.
kilo lifter, he's going to have that.
He's pulling the same weights as everybody else, just
Yeah.
much lighter.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have that advantage. He's done really well as an 83 today with the weight he's been lifting.
95, 97 GL for equipped has got to be up there with
That's a nice
top
number.
5 ever
That's
in
a nice
Canada.
number.
That maybe would be worth looking into.
That's a great number. All right, come on, Dustin.
Which is
Good.
good.
Nice to see him finish with another successful lift. That keeps him in first place in the Open 105s.
Noah, 634
And
pounds.
you got an Open 83 lifter, Noah, lifting
And to
630
Noah comes
pounds,
Brian.
287 kilos. That is a big number.
And Noah's not an old Open either. He's I'm not sure how old he is, but I think he was.
Is he lifting Open, but he's a junior? I think he's an open now.
He's a younger guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely younger. But I think he's an open lifter now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 3.5 times his body weight.
That says everything.
That's a lot.
For this young fella who uses the double overhand hook grip. He doesn't have the mixed grip. One
Now
hand
he's
under,
explaining
one
it.
hand
Now
over
Gino's
the
got
bar,
it.
hands over
He
the
woke
bar,
up.
hooks his thumb underneath the bar, bars loaded, wraps his fingers around the thumb, reverses the grip. The thumbs take the full force of the weight. The 634 pounds crushes his thumbs into the bar.
It's not a powerlifting meet until Gino
Explains.
has explained hook grip.
Here we go. Here we go. All right. Good attempt.
So close.
effort. He had a very good meet. I think he's 8 for 9. I think that's the only one he missed, if I'm correct. I don't think he missed anything else.
All right, Brian.
Missed the squat, but
It's
it's okay. Still 95.85 GL and equipped is huge.
It's a big number. Very big number. Successful meet for him.
Brian and Zaid are projecting 87 if they get theirs, but yeah. Zaid's he missed his first on the overturn, but he's originally he did get it. Otherwise, he is 100% in his lifts. Brian's been up and down, and he's only going up 2.5 on this dead.
Bars ready for
Kind of
Brian.
interesting given how well his second went. I thought his
Yeah.
second went up and down pretty nicely. But maybe he feels like he doesn't have a lot. He might be tired. He might know he's tired.
I think he might be timing out.
Oh, maybe he's timing. Yeah, that could be it too.
Looks like he's timing
Don't
out.
forget our sponsors. Inner Strength, SBD. Over there doing the live stream. We love you.
Just a conscious decision on his part
Thank
to
you,
time
Pete.
out.
Don't forget to stop by our concession stand right over here on the right-hand side of the venue. And Olympia. They got the front row in the middle over there. And whoever else I missed. Go see Inner Strength at their warehouse right across the parking lot east.
And sometimes when you've got two lifters like Brian and Zed might be significantly ahead. Too much for Brian to make that third attempt. It might be too much of a reach. And so he's just said, you know what, there's no point in me trying to make this. I've got my meet, I've got my lifts in. And that might be a coach's decision, it might be a conscious decision on his part.
Yeah, it might not be worth it for him. He might be hurt.
Right.
It could be
There's
anything.
lots of things that could be going on.
Everybody line them up. There we go.
Reminder those lifters.
All right, here comes our final poll.
We got niche media packages out there. I'm sure we'll be seeing that all over social media in the days to come.
689 pounds.
High quality packages from the CPU media team.
This is almost a 700-pound pull by Zaid for the win. He's in first place. He'll stay in first place in the 120-plus open category.
The bars loaded.
Last but not
And
least,
this is the last lift of the session.
Come on, Zay. Almost 700 pounds. Give him a round of applause. Come on, Zay. Let's go, Zay.
All right. Can he lock it out? Let's
unclear.
see. Oh,
All right, they say he didn't get his shoulders
there's lots
back.
of strength
Give him a
there,
round of
just an
applause.
issue with the lockout.
2 lockouts and a thigh support. Well, it seems like we're wrapping ourselves up here. There's going to be a medal ceremony, and we'll be back for lifting once again at 4:30. So see you in 45 minutes for session 3. Thanks for having us. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to everybody for coming out.
Yep, thanks, Matt. Thanks to our sponsors. Session 3 starts in about 45 minutes. And stick around. We had a great afternoon session, and I'm looking forward to the evening session. I've got a couple